Orioles last night in New York. It was one of those nights. The Orioles did a high wire act that lasted until there were 2 out in the 9th inning. And then it was going to be too late. So you rebound. A day game from Yankee Stadium on this Saturday. It's the Orioles on Masson, and indeed it is a day game, and it'll be a full house with a lot of Oriole fans on hand in New York for this weekend series, Game 2 of the 3-game set. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Thorne, and welcome. Obviously, a stunning loss for the Orioles last night. It is the third walk-off loss the Orioles have suffered. After the other two, they won one and they lost one. The Orioles are now 33-3 when they have a lead after 8. They have fallen 3.5 games behind. Toronto had that stunning comeback win against Cincinnati last night. For the Orioles, it was a high-wire act. Last night, Ubaldo Jimenez walked 6. That's a career high. Buck Showalter, after the game, said, "We knew we were in trouble."
The walks were still a problem. I thought he was fortunate tonight. He painted himself in some corners that he shouldn't have. Stuff was okay. He dodged a lot of walks again. He would have 4 or 5 again, and that's just not what we need. So I think he was more fortunate than anything. But he grinded his way through it and didn't implode.
Here's the high wire act. Second inning, bases are loaded. Brett Gardner is up. Fly ball center field. Beltran's the runner at third. Jones is ready. Great throw to the plate. A double play to end the inning. Bases loaded, no runs. In the 4th inning, Ichiro would try and go to second base to set up another runner in scoring position. Behind the plate, Nick Hundley would throw him out. Let's go to the bases loaded again. 5th inning, Teixeira up. Ground ball, first base. Davis there to handle it. Another bases loaded situation, no runs. 6th inning. Brett Gardner again, bases loaded. Tough play. Flaherty at second base on the flip to Hardy. They get out of it, no runs scored. All that, and then this. In the 9th inning, Beltran with 2 on. A high fastball that he drills for the walk-off 3 RBI homer. And the Orioles took the loss in the ballgame, 5-3 the final. So, Jim Palmer, that is a stunning loser, and for the Orioles, it's another rebound day.
Well, it really is, and, of course, about 13 and a half hours between the time you got to the hotel and this game starting. If you're into texting, one of those OMG games where if you had won, you would have said, how do we ever win that one? And if you didn't win, how do we not win it? And we brought in Zach Britton, who's been terrific. He'd be the first guy to tell you, I got balls up. Beltran, I know, he's a high ball hitter, and to his credit, the Yankees have been in a lot of home runs. 13 straight games now, 1 or no home runs. Last night, they do an Earl Weaver on the Orioles, a 3-run home run, and it's the difference.
Take a look, Jim, at Bud Norris, who's going to be on the mound for the Orioles today. Already, it's kind of been a tale of two cities. Our Jeep inside the numbers on Bud.
Yeah, well, he's been terrific. 4-1 when you look at his record. 4-1 at Camden Yards. So what he has to do is continue to do what he did in his last 2 starts. The runner in scoring position numbers at 145, incredibly low. 313 balls off the bat that are put in play. This year it's about 258, so he's done about everything you can. And the other thing, the Orioles, at least until last night, averaging 5 runs a game on the road. You to get him some run support. They've done it, and he's pitched very, very well.
Kind of amazing. Bud Norris has never pitched against the Yankees, ever. Not here, not there, not anywhere. As they said in the book I read to the kids. So he gets a start in this ballgame. Now the Orioles have made a roster change, feeling they need some more help in the bullpen today. So Kevin Gausman has been sent down, optioned out to Norfolk. He actually has to go, but it is not going to break what he's doing in the starting rotation. He'll be back for the doubleheader against Tampa Bay, and Bud Showalter says once he's back, he'll stay and pitch again. Brad Brock is up.
As long as he pitches well, and
yes.
That's really what he's been doing. So, again, when you have a doubleheader, you get to add an extra man. He'll be a guy they bring in. Normally, if you are sent out, you have to stay 10 days. But because of a quirky part of this rule, actually he'll come back, pitch Friday if everything goes well. They asked Buck, well, will he do any throwing in between? Maybe in a live game. He goes, we'll have to wait and see. You don't get a lot of direct answers, and Buck's trying to hold his cards close to his vest, but he'll go down there. I hope he's using an American League ball, because the ball is different, and then he'll come back, and if he does what he did, having won his last game, a 2-0 shutout, 6 innings down in Tampa, you really expect him to be one of the guys that is really going to carry you, hopefully, to the postseason.
Now, nobody's going to say this is a make or break series, obviously, for the season. We're only at the summer equinox. And by the way, happy beginning of summer here from New York, the longest day of the year. Nevertheless, when you're playing these games against the division, it does matter, especially when it looks like this division is going to stay a jumbled mass.
Well, it really is. The Jays come in here, they get swept by the Yankees. As you talked about early on, they're down 8-0 Encarnacion. It's 2 3-run home runs. Now leaves the American League in home runs. You thought, well, maybe they were sinking. All of a sudden, somebody gave them a life vest. The Yankees have won 4 in a row. They've won 8 out of their last 10, even though they're not scoring a lot of runs. Everybody says, well, we got to score more runs. We got to hit more home runs. They only hit 1, but it's a 3-run shot, and they are winning the 1-run and 2-run games, something the Orioles haven't done a great job of doing.
And the Yankees have the best mark in the majors now in ball games that are decided by 1 or 2 runs. So the Orioles a rebound day after the tough loss last night. The Yankees take the field. We've got a day game, and no matter what Dr. Seuss says, no matter whether it's here or there or anywhere, baseball's coming up next. Orioles baseball on Masson is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find Southwest Airlines fares online only at southwest.com. And by AT&T, mobilizing your world. Could not ask for a nicer weekend in New York for last night and for this day game today. Take a look at our train game time temperature. It'll be 75 very comfortable degrees. Virtually no breeze here at the ballpark right now. Visit trainsearch.com to find your local train comfort specialist dealer. It's hard to stop a train, really hard. Here's the starting lineup for the Orioles, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Their fares online only at southwest.com. Markakis, Pearson, Jones, Cruz, Davis, and Hardy. Machado, Scope. Caleb Joseph gets the work behind the plate this season versus New York with a young second baseman. Real good numbers.
And that lineup will face Vidal and Nuno, still looking, and you can look at his mixture. Fastballs at 45%, breaking balls at 47%. So you can see he's a finesse guy. Changeups, only throws about 48% of those changeups for strikes, a little bit lower than you would like. Still looking for a home win. Did win on the road, beat the Angels. Here at home, he's 0-2 with a very high ERA of over 7 runs a game. So you lose Pineda. You lose Nova, you lose Sabathia, you lose all these guys. You bring him up last year. They were able to acquire him. Actually had a groin problem and missed the last 3 months of the year. But a finesse lefty. The Orioles have seen him. I've seen him in relief, and they've also seen him in spring training.
So Nuno, who is still a rookie at the age of 26, another left-hander against the Orioles. O's are 9-10 against left-handed starters, hitting .267 off the lefties, .260 off righties. So they moved the average up. And here's Nick Markakis. 4-game hit streak for Nick continued last night with a 1-for-4. And the pitch will be taken outside for a ball. Nick continues to hit at a 400 clip in the first inning of ball games this season out of this leadoff spot. 1-0 delivery to him, and that'll be foul back and a 1-1 count.
There you go. 64 hits in Yankee Stadium. Nick will turn 31 in November, so he's a lot more at bats over the course of his career.
Oriole fans may look at this set and say, what am I looking at? Something's different here. It's the orange jerseys. Orioles don't wear these on the road. First time they've worn them on the road, which probably means they're for sale here in the Yankee clubhouse stores. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Delivery on the way. Nuno's pitch will be taken outside for a ball.
It's like Visine after last night's game.
Well, that could be.
Yeah, you put
maybe it's
on,
just in your eyes.
Open up your eyes.
Maybe they're really white jerseys. But after the 9th inning loss, they just look orange. Nuno will get one in on the hands that time, and Markakis fights it off.
Yeah, Nick this year, a 400 hitter in the first inning, so done a great job leading off.
Good against lefties,
yeah,
too.
well, he's good. He's just good.
333 off left-handers for Nick, better than the other way around. 2-2 delivery, and he got him to reach. He fooled him, and Nuno gets a kill.
Yeah, really good breaking ball. I mean, it stays up a little bit, but boy, the break is such good. I mean, you always talk about a good breaking ball. It has tilt. So it starts on the plate and finishes it off with 2 strikes. This is where you want to throw it. You can see Nick very rarely able to get him not to be able to cover the outside part of the plate. Couldn't do it.
One of the hottest bats. That's why he's in the lineup. DH in the ball game last night, playing in left field for the Orioles in this game and batting second as he did last night. Steve Pearce, 3-game hit streak, 2 for 5 in the ball game last night. Breaking ball will be taken inside. Pearce 333 off left-handers, just like Markakis, and multi-hit games starting to pile up for him. Swing and a miss, chases the fastball way outside.
Yep, he was looking fastball. He got it, but not even close because the ball wasn't even close.
You can tell Nuno works, I mean, in a hurry. 2-1 delivery on the way, and that'll be foul back. Take a look at the multi-hit games Steve has picked up. He's been driving the ball 3 straight multi-hit games.
Yeah, well, last night he struck out 3 times, but in between the double off of Kuroda, that put the Orioles ahead.
Ball hit in the air, left field, going over Gardner. He's got room and will make the catch in fair territory.
Take a look at the Yankee defense. Man, it's a pretty mobile one. Gardner, Ellsbury, and Suzuki. They can all cover a lot of ground. Very big outfield here. Kelly Johnson comes in and plays third. Jeter, Roberts, Teixeira, 5-time Gold Glove winner, and then Francisco Cervelli off the DL. Came in the pinch run after McCann got a key hit in the 9th inning last night. He'll do the catching.
So Nuno gets the first 2, and that will bring up Adam Jones. Adam, of course, continuing to be one of the game's best hitters against left-handers, still in that top 10 in that department with a .403 batting average against the lefties. On top right now, Altuve of Houston at .427. Nelson Cruz is second against left-handers, then Bautista, Rios, and then Jones.
Yeah, Altuve leading the American League with 101 hits and 1 point behind Cano for the batting title lead.
Real good young Houston talent that they're trying to put together for next year and the year after. Jones taking that one up. 2 ball 1 strike count from Nuno. Interesting in this game, you have 2 pitchers who have never started against the other team. As Jim said, Nuno's had 2 relief appearances against the Orioles and actually has a record against them. He is 0-1 against the O's coming out of one of those relief appearances. 3-1 delivery on the way, and Jones eaten up by a ball down and in.
Well, you want to set a tone, pitch backwards, and by that I mean, okay, fastball count. You can see Cervelli, and there's the good slider that he was able to get Markakis out. Nick, a left-handed hitter, but down and in, very tough. You think the illusion is it's going to be a strike, and it ends up being out of the zone.
3-2 delivery. Jones in the air to left field. That is way back, and goodbye, home run. And the Orioles are on the board on a 3-2 pitch. Adam Jones gets his 13th home run and his 45th RBI of the year.
Well, there's your wake-up call right there. Late night loss, early lead with the home run, and it is not a cheapie.
So Adam gets one off Nuno, who has surrendered 13 home runs. He is now tied for 6th in the American League in most home runs surrendered. And Adam Jones made him pay. That's Adam's 2nd home run against the Yankees this year.
And that is in 61 2/3 innings.
Yeah.
So that's a bunch of home runs.
Pitch taken by Cruz.
Well, take a look right here now. 3-1. They throw him a slider. And 89 in the middle of the plate really doesn't work well. I mean, maybe on the corners, but not there. And boy, he was waiting.
He has given up 2 home runs to lefties and 11 now to right-handers. And our Maryland Lottery contestant of the game, Kathy Clark of Frederick. That's an extra $500 for you. You get $500 for being selected, $500 for every Orioles home run hit. Play the Orioles scratch off for the Maryland Lottery. Your chance to be the contestant of the game. See the O's at Wrigley or go to the MLB World Series. Congratulations, Kathy. You got $500 in that inning. Cruz called out. 1 run on 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on base. Bud Norris will be going to the mound, and he will go with a lead thanks to that swing of the bat. Adam Jones with his career 7th Yankee Stadium home run. Ready today with that $500 off his home run, $500 for being selected. You can learn more at mdlottery.com/Orioles. Take a look at the starting lineup now for the Yankees. Gardner, Jeter, and Ellsbury. Teixeira, Beltran. Kelly Johnson starts at 3rd today. Roberts, Ichiro, and Cervelli will do the catching. Last night the walk-off for Beltran.
And take a look at Bud Norris coming off 2 wins in his last 2 starts. So a lot of fastballs, the changeup, maybe a percent or 2 more than last year. And so everything kind of between 85 and 95. And there are the numbers. Struggled early, still struggles on the road. 4-1 at home, 221 on the road, 2-4, 523. And as you get at Gary, first time he has ever faced the Yankees, first time he's ever pitched here at Yankee Stadium.
Always different experience, and a packed house again on hand. Great crowd last night. There'll be probably an even larger crowd today, and then tomorrow's the old timers day, so they'll be falling off the ledges for that one tomorrow.
So for the Yankees, I'm sure their advanced scouts said, well, how do you beat Bud Norris? He really has been making good pitches. He's incorporated the changeup enough gives you a third pitch to think about. But the one number that jumps out is 11 out of 14 stolen bases. So you can run a little bit on them.
Gardner is one who can run and leads it off, taking a pitch inside. Brett Gardner in the ball game, a 1 for 4 last night, continuing his hit streak to 7 games.
I'm kind of wondering if either there's a bee around there or Bud Norris slipped a little bit.
It's like he was waving away
the bad omens. It was a bug or bad omens, one of the two, or both. High energy guy.
1-0 delivery on the way to Gardner, and he will take the pitch down low. For Gardner, you see the home average. He is third behind Ramirez and Brantley for best home batting average. And there's that Altuve guy again. Boy, what a year he's having. Will never get nearly the credit he deserves, playing for a Houston team that obviously struggles. And Norris will miss outside, and the count goes to 3-0 on Gardner, who will gladly take the walk if it'll get him on base and disrupt things early on the base pass. Gardner's drawn 24 walks. He has struck out 60 times. Manny Machado still in at third. He took the pitch, and that's 4 in a row out of the strike zone.
Well, there is no defense for the walk, and especially when you have a 1-0 lead. But here is the Orioles defense. Pierce, Jones, and Markakis. Jones and Markakis Gold Glovers. Machado Platinum. Harvey a Gold Glovers. Scope Davis and Caleb Joseph doing the catching. Young rookie.
So leadoff man on, and obviously you'll have to be concerned with Gardner. 15 out of 16. Gardner in the ball game last night did some running. 5th inning. He picked up a stolen base. He and Ellsbury both in the top 10 in the American League in stolen bases. Runner not going. Joseph has done a great job throwing out base stealers at 44% if he's given the chance. But as Jim said, problem's been Norris not holding the runners. They're getting jumps on him with only 3 out of 14 caught.
So let's see now. 5 straight balls. We saw last night, 5th inning, 3 consecutive walks. The Sheriff swung at the first pitch. Let's see if Derek Jeter makes him throw a strike.
Runner goes. Great jump. Great throw. And got him! Right on the money so that the ball came down into the runner. And there again is Caleb Joseph behind the plate and cuts down that leadoff man who got on.
Well, he's hitting 141, and this is why he's playing. He's playing because he frames the pitches well. He calls a good game. I mean, this is a youngster, so happy. And this is just a rocket throw. And Gardner, no chance, and then he gets tagged right on the top of the helmet. Just lay it on him.
What a big help for a pitcher and for the ball club. So Jeter with a 1-1 will foul that one right straight back.
Well, if you've been watching the Yankees, as we mentioned in the opening, they've got 13 games of either no or 1 home run, not more than 1. And so we saw it on Thursday night when they played the Jays, the 3rd consecutive win against them. I mean, sacrifice flies, stolen bases, doing all the little things, and Joe Girardi has that kind of club he can do it with.
They lead the league in stolen bases. Jeter goes the other way to Jeter land. Markakis is right there. He's got it. Jeter land.
It's such a, I mean, that is so well said. I mean, here he is with closing in on 3,400 hits, and I really kind of, maybe we could figure that out by tomorrow. How many have been to the right of second base?
Instead of when they had ceremonies today, Tito Martinez he's got a place in the Monument Park now for Jeter. They won't put it out there; they'll put it in right field. Just put a big marble plaque in the grass and right. Here's Jacoby Ellsbury. Ellsbury, a 3-game hit streak. He had a 1 for 4 in the ball game last night. He has actually faced Norris before, 1 for 6 off the Orioles starter.
Well, Bud Norris has good stuff, and one of the first things, of course, when Dave Wallace came over as a new pitching coach, Dom Cheedy in the bullpen, they went up to Kevin Gausman and they said, "Hey, what can we do to make you better?" And I'm sure they did the same approach with Bud Norris. Buck Showalter, the great 5-iron story where he only threw 1 changeup when he was supposed to work on it with the wind blowing in, and he said, "You play golf?" "Yeah, I do." "You ever play around with just a 5-iron? And Bud said, "Well, why would I do that?" He said, "Well, that's the way you pitched yesterday." So the point was made early on. You don't have to throw a lot of changeups, but let them know, and there's one right there. Let them know you have it.
I tell you something, in a game like this, you can't help it. Even a veteran like Norris, you come into Yankee Stadium and it's your first game you've pitched here. front of a full house. The leadoff man gets on. The heart's pumping. That play by Caleb Joseph settles everything back down again. You can go back to pitching.
Well, he threw 5 straight balls, so obviously, yeah, he needed some help, and
Joseph gave it to him. That pitch will be outside. 2-ball, 2-strike count. Norris working on career best numbers. His career ERA is 4.3. His ERA here 3.73. Opponents are hitting only .234 against him this year. Career .259. So he's putting up some career numbers in important categories. 3-ball, 2-strike count on Ellsbury. Teixeira waiting on deck.
Yeah, so there's the career numbers, and the BAB, it's balls, the batting average on balls put in play. So obviously much lower this year. And then check out the 145 with runners in scoring position. Mr. Clutch.
Yeah. 3-2 delivery on the way, and he walked him.
Yeah, he just cannot stay closed enough to be able to get his arm out in front of him.
That's why in the inning.
He's done a nice job of doing what he's doing right now, which is try to get it back into the moment. I mean, the now factor is very important when you're pitching. You know, you certainly you can register in your mind what just went on, not only to Ellsbury, and you can look right there, the 14th in the American League as far as how many they walk per 9th inning, and then 1/4 of those score.
Ellsbury's another stolen base artist. He's been successful in his last 13 attempts. Teixeira up, and the throw over to get him back. Ellsbury with 21 stolen bases, including one last night. 5 behind Altuve, who leads with 26.
13 in a row for Jacoby.
Teixeira's got a 9-game hit streak. Talked about feeling real comfortable at the plate over the last 3 or 4 ball games in particular. Of course, he's had time on the DL, so the Yankees really hoping this is a sign of what's going to be the rest of the season. 9-game hit streak, 10 for 33 with a homer and 7 RBIs over that stretch of games. Pitch to him, and that is in there for his strike. The shift is on.
Well, their biggest concern is the surgery on the right wrist. Every once in a while acted up, and I guess, you know, if you talk to Mark, he'll say I just can't hit off the tee as much. I can't do as much batting practice. You just have to kind of control that injury. The surgery on it.
Runner not going. Ball in the air to left field. Pierce is out there, high sky. He's under it and will put it away. So the Orioles out of that one, and Gardner caught stealing in the first looms large. A little help from your catcher never hurts. Forward to Miller time later in our ball game today, brought to you by Miller Lite. Hope you're having a great weekend. It is the official beginning of summer today, longest day of the year. The sun setting about 8:35 tonight, came up at 5:25. So enjoy.
How do you know all this?
I read the Times. That'll bring up Chris Davis. Davis 1 for 5 in the ball game last night.
Another classic case of the obvious, right?
Pitch is in there for a strike. That's the truth. I did riding the subway out this morning. I looking at that big weather page, had all the times on it. Here's the 0-1 delivery, and the pitch is taken outside. 1 ball, 1 strikeout on Chris.
Yeah, Nuno's done a nice job against lefties. Got Markakis out, which is not easy. So they're 2 for 19 after starting out 12 for 29, over 400. So at least he's figured out that part of the game.
Davis 236 off the lefties, only 212 off right-handers. Shift on, and Davis, another one of those pitches outside that pitchers are trying to get him to chase.
Well, there you go, against lefties. I mean, the home runs, that doesn't really matter. I mean, he can hit home runs off everybody, and then look at that, 17 home runs in the last year and a half.
Into the shift, and there was nobody there. He'll make the turn. Ichiro up with it. He'll make the throw to second. It'll be a stand-up double. And Davis leads off the inning with a 2-bagger.
I'll take a look. A couple of strikes. You lay off the one quality breaking ball, and then looks like it's a fastball, and it's got middleitis. Doesn't play well, and he hooks it into the corner, and then it's really kind of a foot race. Can Ichiro get to it before you can round first and get into second?
So the Orioles get the first chance with the runner in scoring position. Their run, of course, coming on the Jones home run. Orioles were 4 for 12 with runners in scoring position in the ball game last night. Same number for the Yankees.
Yeah, that's a lot of guys.
That's a lot of people on base.
Yeah, it really was, and a lot of opportunities. Kuroda had the no-hitter going into the 6th. Jimenez seemed like he was, especially in the 5th, trying to pitch around almost everybody. Got into some command problems. They ended up walking 6 in 5 2/3 innings.
Hardy will ground that to short. Runner's got to stay. Jeter makes sure. Davis goes back and then throws out Hardy.
Well, that's a plus pitch by a kid, again, still trying to win his first start ever here. Hard slider down and in, and even if you're J.J. Hardy, who's been hitting a lot of balls up the middle and to right field, he couldn't stay inside the ball. He was around it, and he hits the ball exactly where the pitcher wants him to hit it, which is to the left side of the infield. Can't advance the runner.
Now Manny Machado. Manny had a 1 for 4 in the game last night. This season for Machado, 273 with runners in scoring position. And he will take the pitch for a ball. Tom Hallion is the crew chief, and he's got the plate for this ball game. He tends to favor the hitters as far as his strike zone is concerned through his long, great career. Tends to be pretty tight. Ball foul back, the off-speed delivery that was up high, 1-1.
Yeah, bring it down about right under the letters of the Orioles there, right under that black stripes, and it's a double. It's a double pitch. Swinging it above, it gets Nuno back into the count.
Pretty good lead at second for Davis, and got him inside and fouls it off.
So there's you keep wondering. Of course, Manny coming off the ligament problem in the patellar, so really didn't have much of a spring training at all. Could do some things, but really couldn't play. Then missed 26 games, so he's trying to get back into a rhythm, but helping him out by swinging at balls.
And that ball put up in the air, shallow center. Real good speed there, and Ellsbury easily tracks it down, and there are 2 away. Orioles are going to be back on Monday, back home. A 3-game series will kick it off against the White Sox on Tuesday. Ollie's Bargain Night, presented by Ollie's Bargain Outlet Returns. Upper reserve seats just $9 when purchased in advance. So gather up, family and friends. Have an affordable night at the Yard. Get your tickets right now at Orioles.com, or you can call 888-848-BIRD. Here is Jonathan Scope. He got 1 at bat last night, an 0 for 1 runner at second now. The leadoff double. Orioles have not been able to get Davis moved up. Scope hitting only 190 off left-handers. Machado 196. A couple of low numbers by right-handed hitters. That one's going to go to Gardner. He's there. And that's the inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and Davis left on at second. The Orioles have the early 1-0 lead. Probable endings. What a night last night. Toronto Blue Jays came back from an 8-0 deficit and won the ball game 14-9. You got to go back to 1896, the last time a major league team won a game 5 or more runs after the opponent had 8 runs in either the first or second inning. Marcell Ozuna, Miami, threw out 2 runners at the plate. One was the final out of the ball game. That has not been done since 2009, and that was David DeJesus with the Royals. And Carlos Beltran, of course, here last night, he had the home run, the walk-off home run. He's done it with both the Yankees and the Mets. The only other player to do that, Darryl Strawberry, to have a walk-off homer for both Yankees and Mets. An improbable night last night. Some wild finishes. And as a result, of course, with a victory by Toronto, they remain in first place. They are now a game and a half ahead of the Yankees and 3.5 ahead of the Orioles. Beltran, who got the job done in the ball game last night, who hadn't been hitting very well and isn't overall, but boy, that last night covered a lot of territory. Got a 3-game hit streak. He's DHing in this ball game. He's had more at bats against Norris than any other Yankee. He is 8 for 24 against Bud.
Yeah, now he when you get behind him, I mean, he just looks into his zone. That's what he did against Zach Britton. I mean, it wasn't like it was a 91-mile-per-hour fastball. Was 96, but it was really letter high. I mean, it was right where the emblem, the New York emblem. I mean, it wasn't belt high. It was almost chest high. And he hit it about as hard as you can hit a ball.
1-1 delivery on the way, will be taken down low. Beltran's 6th career walk-off home run, first one since 2008 with the Mets. 2-ball, 1-strike count. Beltran, Johnson, and Roberts due up. Markakis deep in right field, and the pitch taken away. Norris continues to struggle a bit with the strike zone here.
Yeah, a lot. Zoom balls. Got to stay closed enough. So again, it's almost like you want to throw over your front side. If you become a merry-go-round, going in a circle, watch his left shoulder, try to keep it closed. There it is.
Up in the air to left field. It's playable. Way up. Pierce is under it. Beltran is retired. A couple of fly balls, last 2 outs to left. Join the conversation. Check out Mass at Orioles on Facebook and join our game chat to interact with fellow Oriole fans regarding today's ball game. You can log on to www.facebook.com/Mass at Orioles and scroll down to today's game to chat and get started. 1 down here in the second inning. Norris has been for the most part a ground ball pitcher, 43% ground balls. He's been tougher as the situation gets tougher with nobody on. Teams hit 278. You get somebody on, it's 184. And then, as Jim said, with runners in scoring position, it falls way down to 145. 1 down. Here is Kelly Johnson. And he will take the pitch down low. He came on as a pinch runner in the ball game last night. And some problems trying to bunt. He got hit on the hand, hurt the fingers on his left hand in a bunt attempt. That's going to go into the shift. That's Hardy, and he guns it over to get the out.
Yeah, I don't think that Scope, because he's playing so deep with the shift on, because the ball was hit right off the fist, he was going to be able to get to it in time. You can see JJ again. He doesn't get this ball if it's hit hard. It's by him, but because it's hit softly, the only person that can make the play is the guy that does make the play.
So Johnson rather's retired, and here's Brian Roberts.
A little different angle than JJ's used to.
And didn't move Machado over. Sometimes the Orioles, as Oriole fans know, put Machado over into the shift and leave Hardy on the other side.
Yeah, they used to actually put him, if you're going to be the roamer out in the outfield because of his arm strength, but Scope's got a terrific arm too. And that's his normal angles and the throw and whatever. So they just move him out into right field. And because if you don't have a good arm and you play deep, if you're running hard, you can beat out balls.
Yep. Brian Roberts, good night last night. Former Oriole had a 2 for 4. 2 down here. Norris's delivery to him, and that'll be on the inside corner for a strike.
Yeah, so you can see it's not about velocity, and it's just today, at least to this point, about command. And you just want to be able to get ahead. You want to be as efficient as you can. What he's been able to do is pitch into the late innings. And the reason for that is the longer you stay out there, if you're not getting a lot of run support, and of course this year it's a little bit better than normal. Last year it was under 4 runs a game. Is that the longer you stay out there, the more chance with a good offense they'll put runs on the board and you can win some games.
Roberts with a 2-strike count, 237 right-handed, 240 left-handed. You foul it back. Bud Norris continues to be the most backward pitcher for the Orioles, that in a positive sense. It doesn't matter whether he gets the first strike or the first pitch is a ball. The average after each is almost exactly the same. He tends to get only 55% of leadoff batters. That is very low for a starting pitcher. Here's the 0-2 delivery, and he'll miss with that one, a little bit down low again.
Yeah, there's the changeup, and again, when the numbers at 258 with balls put in play, which is exceptionally low, it's about 50-60 points lower than his career, and the fact that they're only 145 with runners, that's how you can get out of jams.
1-2 delivery on the way. Another thing that's inconsistent for Bud is that first time through the lineup, teams hit 225. The second time through, it jumps to 255, and then the third time through, it drops back down again to 212. Well, usually it's the other way around.
From what I've seen, I mean, he's kind of like guys that pitch in my era, where you don't really lose a lot of stuff as the game goes on.
Roberts battling here in the high heater.
But other than Kevin Gausman, he is the hardest throwing starter the Orioles have. I mean, he can hit 95 every once in a while. Comfortably. He's one of those Baseball America guys, pitches at 92, touches 94, 95.
Working on a 3-game win streak. Pitch by, and he got him. Roberts will go down swinging. So first strikeout for Norris. Then he retires the side in order here in this Saturday. Couple innings complete. Jones home run on the board for the O's. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find Southwest Airlines fares online only at southwest.com. And by Luna. For beautiful new carpet, hardwood, and laminate, call 877-241-LUNA. Barry Thorne, Jim Palmer with you here in Bronx. You're looking at Manhattan. Oriole fans. Hello, O's fans. In the Bob Uecker seats. They're in 430, but in the shade. And the Orioles have the 1-0 lead. Caleb Joseph will lead it off, hitting ninth. Did not play in the ball game last night. Markakis and Pierce to follow. They put the shift on, and very late. Wow. Roberts was moving from one side of second to the other when the pitch was delivered by Nuno. Nuno even pitches too fast for his own team. Here's the 0-1 delivery and fouled off.
Who's your favorite starter? If you ask Vidal, he'd go, Mark Burley.
Mark Burley.
That's right. Let's get out of here.
Let's go. Throw the ball.
Well, really, there's not a whole lot to think about. I mean, the guys will walk around and look at the dirt and do this. I mean, please. Guys playing behind you don't like it?
Nope. Here's the 0-2 delivery on the way. and it'll come inside with it.
Well, the remarkable thing about BAL AT NYA is that when you throw as many home runs, 13 and now 63 innings, you'd think he might nibble, but he doesn't. He doesn't walk a whole lot of guys. I mean, 1, 2 a game. He did walk 4, but you have to go all the way back to the Mets, and that was back in May. Other than that, 1-1-1, 0-1-1-1 in his last 7 starts.
He's in an attack mode. You saw Joseph stand out there. He's just trying to slow him down. 2-2 delivery, and that one will be tapped foul. Orioles now 2-2 against the Yankees on the year as the Orioles play these vital division games back into them. Buck Showalter's ball club 21-18 on the road. Yankees with a win last night get one above 500 at home. Outside corner strike. Caleb will remember that and ask for the same for Norris.
Exactly. He'll tell Mr. Hallion, that's all right. If you're going to call me out, just call it for my guy. It looks like it's a strike. Is it high enough, I guess, is the question. And against Ravelli, I mean, he sits really wide, and I mean, this angle tells you it was probably maybe a little off the corner. That high home does, or that high, I guess, rooftop camera doesn't lie. Not on balls and strikes.
And here's Nick Markakis. Orioles turn the order over. Nick, a strikeout victim, his first time up to the plate, hovering right there at that 298, 300 mark consistently. Breaking ball, and that will catch the strike zone at the knees.
Now that's a curveball. We've seen the slider. That's what he struck him out on. We've seen change-ups, and he got hurt on the fastball in the middle of the plate to Adam Jones.
1-1 delivery. Markakis will take. Only outing this year Nuno had against the Orioles, April 8th. And it was not a good one. 3 1/3 innings. He gave up 7 runs on 8 hits, a couple of home runs in the ball game. 2-1 delivery will go to short. Right off the end of the bat, Jeter will charge. 2 down. It's time for all fans to tweet your photos using hashtag #MassonFanPhotos for a chance to have it shown in a future broadcast. Brought to you by AT&T.
Yeah, that's the game that Ivan Nova started, and Nuno came in relief and got lit up. Orioles would win that 114-5.
He's never won a game here at Yankee Stadium. Not last year, not this year. 0-3 in the ballpark. Steve Pearce, first ball hitting. Center fielder Ellsbury gets over. There's a quick inning. Orioles are retired 1, 2, 3, 6 in a row, set down by Nuno. The O's have the lead going to the bottom of the 3rd. History brought to you by University of Maryland University College. June 21, 66. Orioles trying to protect 7-5 lead. Roy White, Yankees, deep right field. Frank Robinson disappears. A great catch, robbing the Yankees of a possible walk-off in the first game of a doubleheader.
Yeah, Stu Miller on the mound in that ball game. I was here, and And when he caught it, Ralph Houck was the manager. He got thrown out as the game was, everybody was running in to get the, used to have, let's see, rye bread and ham and Swiss cheese and a yoo-hoo. That was your, well, yeah, Yogi Berra used to do the yoo-hoo. So that was it. And maybe a Coke or something. That was your halftime. That was your in-between games. Yeah. And when we came back out, Ralph was still trying to get him to reverse the call because Frank caught the ball and then tumbled over that wall. It was really about waist high. And he could have picked it up. He could have done a lot of things because at the time, I think Hank Soar was the umpire. I don't know why I remember this, but anyway, he put his hand up and then Ralph Houck went crazy.
And nobody will ever know except Frank.
That's right.
Who isn't talking. A 1-0 count on Ichiro. Ichiro followed by Cervelli and Gardner, 1 for 3 in the ballgame last night. Ichiro platooning in right field. He'll take the pitch 2-0. Again, Norris pitching behind on hitters.
Yeah, he doesn't give in though, and you know that your point whether you're ahead or behind because he's Powder River either way. I mean, it's not like okay, got to take a little off to throw a strike.
And a high heater. He didn't that time. 93.
Yeah, Ichiro trying to get his first home run of the year.
As a starter for the Orioles, Norris now is making his 23rd since joining the O's. 10-6, a 4.08 ERA as an Orioles starter. Ichiro will take it. Norris thought he had it, didn't get the call. Falls behind 3-1. 1 win away from matching his career high in win streaks at 4. If he can get the W here today. Ichiro swinging a foul tip into the mitt, and he goes to 3-2. Ichiro asking the home plate umpire Hallion, was that a strike?
Well, it was, and right on the corner. You can see how firmly Caleb Joseph just catches that ball.
3-2 delivery in the air. Pierce a busy day in left field so far. This will be his third putout of the ball game. Don't miss your chance to lock in seats to the best remaining games of the season and enjoy Major League savings during the Birdland Summer Six-Pack Chance. You can get tickets to any 6 games of your choice. 20% off the cost of single game tickets. Lock in seats. The most anticipated games and promotions. For details, Orioles.com/sixpack. Ichiro retired. Is Cervelli did not play in the ball game last night. He's just getting back into action for the Yankees, doing the catching in this one. McCann caught the ball game last night. First game from rehab came on Tuesday. He'd been on that DL with a hamstring problem. Missed 55 ball games.
Yeah, probably when he heard it. Yeah, day to day. Hamstrings are not day to day. Boy.
0-1 delivery, and that'll trickle away.
Yeah, I mean, he's actually always been able to be a fairly good average hitter. I'm talking about Cervelli. I mean, 271 coming into the year. Not a lot of power. Career high for home runs is 4. You got a high energy pitcher, and he's a high energy catcher. I mean, a very amped up guy. And
that'll go up the middle for a base hit. Cervelli gets the single, and that is hit number 1 for the Yankees.
Yeah, that's what he does. He gets a hanging slider that just pokes it back up the middle.
So the Yankees get one on with 1 out here in the 3rd inning, and that'll bring Brett Gardner up. Gardner always walking up, looks to third base. He's not going to fool anybody. He's going to see, are you in or out? And if you're out, I may just bunt the ball down there for a base hit. So Manny Machado's in.
Well, they really like this guy, and they liked him enough to give him a $48 million 4-year deal. And you go, well, that's a ton of money. Well, if you're going to play every day in the big leagues for a team that usually spends in the $200 million range, that's what it costs. But he can do a lot of things. I mean, he's not a home run guy, but he can hit home runs. I mean, look at that. I mean, he sprays the ball around. He's the guy that started it for the Yankees last night, trailing 3-1 in the ninth. He hits lefties, over 300 against lefties. He's a plus defender, and he's a plus base runner.
He's got a 7-game hit streak coming into this ball game with that walk his first time up. Here's the 0-1 delivery to him. Trying to jump on it and fouls it straight back. Gardner against the Orioles this year, hitting .313. Got a couple of outfielders who have tagged the Orioles both this year and historically. Ellsbury's hitting .375 off the Orioles this year, and Gardner at .313. Ichiro a .337 career hitter against the Orioles. Runner on first base, one down, 0-2 delivery, and he fouls it back.
Yeah, Bud's got the good velocity today, no doubt about that. That was a 90-mile-per-hour cut fastball. Trying to strike him out, maybe jam him. Problem with getting the ninth hitter on is you do bring Gardner up, and it opens up holes.
Gardner leads the Yankees in total bases, 111 total bases. He and Ellsbury are 1 and 2 in the Yankees. He's got triples, 4 of them, 7 doubles. That one towards the hole. Jonathan Scope charging the flip. Davis is there. Cervelli will move up, but there are 2 down.
Yeah, there's the good changeup. He hasn't used it a whole lot. But not only does he use it, the bottom drops out of it. Gardner couldn't do anything but hit it on the ground. And then you can see because it hits so slowly and it's the Jonathan Scope's left. He only has 1 play, so you give up the out. That's not his intention, but it does get a tying run into scoring position.
And Derek Jeter with 2 away will come to the plate. Jeter had his hit streak ended last night, and he flied out to right field, first time up in this ball game. For Jeter this year, .267 with runners in scoring position. Cervelli off second base, and Jeter will foul that one for the crowd.
Well, one of my favorite stories about Derek a couple of years ago, I said, okay, so your batting average lifetime is about .312, .314, and you're just about 5 points under that with runners in scoring position. And he looked at me because what changes? And obviously, if you ever played the game, you know it changes because guys in scoring position, maybe I pitch him a little differently, but for him it doesn't. Same approach. Jeterland uses the middle of the field, right field. Doesn't try any harder. He just read an article earlier where they said the guys that do hit well with runners in scoring position, they just do what they normally do, and that's exactly what he's done for 20 years.
0-1 count. Cervelli off second base. Jeter will foul it back. Jeter's now 8th on the all-time hit list, 3,385. He will catch Carl Yastrzemski for the 7th spot in all likelihood, but he's not going to get to Honus Wagner. Probably not. He certainly won't get to Tris Speaker. Having said that, if you're in the top 10 all-time in hits, hello.
Well, first Yankee ever to have 3,000 hits.
0-2 the count. Orioles have the 1-0 lead, bottom of the 3rd inning. Jeter takes and he's gone. So Norris will get his 2nd strikeout. Jeter will talk with Hallion. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. Jones' home run, still the only one on the board. From routine to the most specialized eye care, LifeBridge Health's Krieger Eye Institute handles it all. Call 410-601-2020 for a same-day appointment. One more with the Yankees. 2 o'clock game tomorrow afternoon. Then the Orioles go home. You see the White Sox, and don't forget a double header Separate ball games Friday at 1 and 7. Orioles starters for the homestand have not been announced yet. It'll be Chris Tillman and Masahiro Tanaka with that 11-1 mark, making the start in the day game tomorrow. Adam Jones coming up. He's done the damage against Nuno, delivering the home run with 2 down in the first inning. Orioles continue to use the long ball here in June. Orioles lead the majors with 25 home runs so far in June.
Yeah, got behind him and threw him a great slider in a 3-1 count and then tried to sneak a fastball by him. And that's the home run.
Adams been on a tear in that regard. He's got 7 home runs in June, hitting .306 this month. Off-speed delivery will catch the outside corner from Nuno. And a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Told you his big numbers batting average wise against left-handers, that .403 number. And 5 of his home runs have been hit off lefties, 8 off right-handers.
Well, let's see him. He throws him another fastball and a fastball count. I can't imagine he would.
2-1 delivery.
Yeah.
Crunch. Got a hold of that Nuno pitch and drove it way back. The back of the first section. The Orioles run and only a couple of hits. And you can see he's hit home runs everywhere.
Wow. You're just coming in with a beer. You knock it right out of your hand coming down the aisle. That ball was so far foul.
Can't drink at the ballpark.
We can.
Oh, sorry.
I sidearm Gene tennis in a twilight doubleheader in Baltimore, and a guy's coming up the ramp. He's got popcorn and beer, knocked it all. That was gone.
I hope you're reimbursed for that.
Should have been here earlier.
2-2. He started to go, held up, and the count will go full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. A guy caught one last night in the second deck. Was a pop-up, but he caught it in his popcorn container. Did you see that?
Yeah.
That was an amazing catch. He got a great hand.
Yeah, the Derek Jeter.
He did.
Yeah. He did. Well, Jeter's known what the backhand throw to get Giambi at the plate into the
and walked in.
Into the stands in the playoffs. I mean, this guy goes. That's why he's wearing the jersey.
So the first walk surrendered by Nuno. He's given up 21 free passes now in 63 innings worked. And the Orioles get the leadoff man on for the second time in 4 innings.
Well, there's your home run ball. And normally it doesn't affect him, but when you get behind the guy that hit one the first time around, you try to make perfect pitches, and he couldn't do it.
So now Cruz will come up, a strikeout victim, a called third strike on him. Runner on at first base and nobody out. Nelson Cruz, the DH today, and he will take the pitch inside for a ball.
So there they are. And Encarnacion now leads because of the 2 3-run shots he hit last night. That's a home run every.
In the air to right field, going back and looking. He leads. No more. Goodbye, home run. Nelson Cruz and a 2 RBI homer that he hits the other way. And the long ball continues to be the nemesis for Nuno. Cruz, number 23, and now has 60 runs batted in.
Yeah, they talk about how the ball carries here, and until you either come to the ballpark here, play here, broadcast a game here, you don't realize how the ball jets out to right field. And then you put the combination of a big, strong guy that's having a monster year, and it seems so routine. It's just inside middle. He stays inside of it. A tremendous power. The Orioles certainly learned that when he played for Texas. And Ichiro just turns his head and watches it sail into the seats.
Another $500 for Kathy Clark, our Maryland lottery contestant of the game. So up to $1,500 on the day. Down to first and fouled off by Chris Davis. So the Orioles home runs by Jones, a solo shot, 2 RBI homer for Cruz. For Nelson now with that home run, he moves back into a tie with Encarnacion for the lead in home runs, and with the 2 RBIs he's at 60. Encarnacion is at 62. That clears him after the leadoff walk to Jones to start the inning. Davis a double his first time up into the right field corner. 1-2 delivery on the way, and a breaking ball will miss. Orioles now 3-3-0. The Yankees 0-1-0. Is it the best pickup made by any team in the majors prior to the start of the season? Cruz, arguably.
Yeah.
Ellsbury's in center field, and he's got it.
And again, because of the circumstances where he didn't take the qualifying offer, $14.1 million, the Orioles get him for $8 million.
A steal in this day and age, and an MVP first 2.5 months. Here is Hardy. Hardy grounded out his first time up. And the pitch will be taken for a strike.
We just don't want to be telling any of the old timers when they have old timers day tomorrow that he was a steal for $8 million.
No. I don't want to hear that. pitch is down low.
Yeah, really a bargain, that Nelson Cruz guy.
All about timing.
Yeah, it really is.
1-1 delivery on the way, and that's a base hit into right field. So Hardy continues to do what he's been doing, and that's hit for average as he goes the other way. Take a look at our Major League Notebook under worth repeating from J.J. Hardy. He said the first month my back injury, and I just kind of found a base hit swing. My body's gotten better, and I still have that swing instead of the power. So obviously, I'd like to drive the ball more and be more productive, but I'm not quite sure I'm going to do that.
Well, so I think it's a combination. I still think he's a little bit more off the plate than last year, but this is a game of adjustment. We can talk about it all the time.
That ball into the corner in left field, and right at the wall. Gardner will get it. Hardy was all the way down to second. He'll come back, and Manny Machado just missing one in left field.
So again, my point is, if you're J.J. Hardy and you've hit more home runs than any shortstop in baseball, we know he's the Gold Glover the last 2 years. All of a sudden, Larry Rothschild, the pitching coach for the Yanks, is going to come out, but the league's going to say, well, wait a minute, whatever we're doing, 25, 22, 30, it's not working. So we're going to make some adjustments. And then the injury and the fact that I think he thought that Orioles may offer him a contract, and he's not doing it. So I'm sure there's some angst there and whatever. So there's a lot of stuff going on.
And he's hitting around 300 much of the time, a little below that now, but
and I don't care how many
that year.
I don't care how many errors he makes. He's steady Eddie. I mean, even the best could go through defensive slumps.
Well, the Orioles get another man on, fourth hit off Nuno. And that will bring up Jonathan Scope, who flied out to left field his first time up. Play him to pull in the infield. Pitch will be taken for a strike on the outside corner. Nuno, that high average against him, 293 overall, and it's been both ways. 298 for the lefties, 292 for the right-handers. 0-1 delivery, and that ball to short. Jeter was deep. He'll play it over to second base. Roberts is there for the out. Orioles, though, get a couple of runs as they do it on 2 hits. Nelson Cruz, his 23rd long ball. He likes to hit home runs here at New York. That is his 6th in his career. By PNC Bank for the achiever in you, Alex Murphy with Aberdeen. And over the last 4, this catcher putting up some numbers, had a home run in the ball game last night. He's only 19, a 6th-round pick in 13 out of Calvert Hall. So keep an eye on a big catcher.
A local kid. You can catch, you can hit a little bit. Well, that's I guess the irony here. Caleb Joseph, he goes through his whole minor league career where he's not a good enough defensive guy, and now he's playing because he is. It tells you.
Yep.
I mean, the handwriting's on the wall. You better learn how to catch, especially for this regime.
Yes.
John Russell, the bench coach, a former catcher. And well, if you can't catch and you can't throw and you can't pay attention and you can't focus, you will not be on the Orioles.
That is a guarantee.
And it really doesn't matter what you hit.
Nope. Jacoby Ellsbury will lead it off, bottom of the 4th inning. The Orioles up 3-0. Ellsbury drew one of the 2 walks surrendered by Norris so far. Norris 2 walks, 2 Ks, has only given up 1 hit, a base hit by Cervelli in the 3rd inning in his first ever appearance against the Yankees. Orioles 29-year-old right-hander, 6-5, 1-0 delivery. Orioles are 7-6 in the 13 games he has started this year. Teixeira and Beltran to follow. Here's the 2-0. And he'll get the corner with that one. 2-ball, 1 strike count.
Yeah, he can get behind you and he'll come right back, throw a ball by you. Did it to Suzuki. Went 2-0, 2-1, missed it. Went 3-1, popped it up right there. I mean, so if you were playing for Earl Weaver, he would go, well, if you're going to get behind them and throw fastballs and they're not hitting, why don't you just get ahead? That's where he made me the deal. First pitch, he gave me $4. I had to give him 2 if I threw it for a ball. After 2 games, he owed me $124.
And that was the end of that.
He made his point. The club paid for it.
Pitch on the way, fouled away.
I saw his, it was like a bubblegum card, baseball card, right in the middle of Dempsey's glove. I saw his little face there and I'm going, that's $4. But he did make his point.
Cruel and heartless. Nevertheless.
Well, he just.
So you threw at Earl Weaver's face.
Yeah.
That's how you had 8 20-win seasons.
Well, that and all the guys that played behind me. Yeah.
2-2 delivery on the way. That'll go to left field. Boy, Pierce has had a good time out there. Ellsbury retired. That's why Earl did so much for you in your career.
Thank you.
The latest voting numbers are in for the All-Star game. Several Orioles looking for your votes. Nelson Cruz remains atop the DH. Matt Wieters still his catcher. Adam Jones, Hardy, Davis, Machado, Marquez. You can vote at Orioles.com/vote-orange. Earn ticket discounts and a chance to win the autographed All-Star jersey. Vote 35 times. That's legal and proper. And so get it done today. Go to Orioles.com/vote-orange.
Yeah, the Yankees are saying, let's hit it to the DH.
Let's go.
Playing left field now.
Pierce can play.
Yeah,
he can play left field.
He can play first base.
Yep.
I get the feeling,
that's what, 4 putouts?
Yeah, I get the feeling that he could catch if he needed to.
He'd do it. Teixeira flied out to Pierce his first time up. Shift on the other way on the switch hitting first baseman. Towards Teixeira this year, side of the plate wise, 245 right, 252 left. He's had 9 of his 11 home runs from this side of the plate. Teixeira tried to lift it, fouled it off outside of first base.
Yeah, he does have the uppercut swing, especially from this side of the plate, and tries to keep the back hip a little bit higher. But Ted Williams said you need a 6-degree upswing to hit.
If you're Ted Williams.
Yes, if you're Ted Williams, that's exactly right.
1-2 delivery. Got the upswing on that one. That is deep. 385. Jones looking and goodbye. Home run. Teixeira puts the Yankees on the board. The 7th he has hit at home this season. 12th overall.
You get it up into the air. Of course, this is a guy that, normally a normal year for him is 30-plus home runs.
I mean, came in with 341 home runs, so He's up over 350, and you could see, I mean, he just tomahawks a high fastball, and it gets out of here.
And it is a 3-1 ball game. Beltran will take it for his strike. Norris surrenders his 10th home run of the season. 6 have been hit by left-handers. And Mark Teixeira's first home run against the Orioles this year. Beltran flied to left his first time up, goes that way again, but this is going to be in the seats.
So the Yankees, they end up winning 85 games, and instead of Teixeira, who had 58 at bats, they get Overbay, Hafner, but he did mostly the DHing. So if you're Joe Girardi, it's nice to have a Gold Glover that seems to be healthy. Plug him in every day at first.
0-2 delivery on the way, and that ball will be in the air to center. Jones started back. He'll drift in. And there are 2 down here in the 4th inning. The Yankees, of course, known historically for their long ball, are not doing much of that anymore. For the Yankees this season, when it comes to home runs, they are 9th out of the 15 teams in the American League. The Orioles 4th coming into the ball game. As we've talked about, it's been much more an offense about speed and key hits. 2 down. Here is Kelly Johnson, and Johnson will take the pitch away for a ball.
No, that's why they signed Kelly Johnson the last couple of years. 16 home runs last year for the Rays. Career high with Arizona was 26, and that's about 5 years ago.
Johnson with Solarte spending time at third base. Johnson will 11 hits in his last 31 at bats. While Solarte has struggled a bit. Good pitch on the outside corner by Norris. Questioned by Johnson. 1-2.
Yeah, the plate has been a little bit wide. I think we saw that on the Derek Jeter pitch. But that was a changeup that Kelly thought ran off the plate. And Tom Hallion said, nope, got the corner.
Bud will take it. Shift on against him. Fastball. Pull the hands in a little bit. 2-ball, 2-strike count.
And how he didn't chase that pitch. That was like the perfectly executed pitch right underneath his hands. Very good high ball hitter out over the plate. Not too many lefties, maybe other than Teixeira. Hit one over his head for the home run.
Fouls that one back. We're talking about the Yankees and home runs, Jim. You take a look at what's happened with the home runs. First in 09, third in 10, first 11, first in 12, then way down last year and down again this year.
Well, they had 21 guys on the DL, and when you look at A-Rod last year, he had 170 some RBIs. Granderson was hurt, broken wrist and hand, so he was usually a 40 home run guy. So you can see why their numbers were down. And then they signed Beltran,
and he's coming back next year.
That's
A-Rod.
That's what he said today.
That's what he said.
Dropped all the lawsuits.
Yep.
They owe him another $61 million, whether he plays or not.
Now the Yankees got to figure out, now what do we do? 3-ball, 2-strike count.
He can still play third base. And
yeah. Shift is on. That is Hardy, the shortstop, who will make the play and retire the side. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on base. Teixeira's 12th home run of the year makes it 3-1-0. Brought to you by PNC Bank for the achiever in you. By Antwerpen Toyota. Visit their new Route 32 Clarksville facility. All month they'll beat any competing offer on your trade-in. Hurry in today. And by Ocean City, Maryland. Put your vacation days to good use in Ocean City, Maryland. Book now at ococean.com. If you're lucky enough to be there today, great. Ground ball down to third base. Fair ball. Throw is not handled by Teixeira, and Joseph is going to be on. A little lob toss from Johnson at third.
Trying to think what hand. I was watching the game on Thursday when he tried to bunt, but I think it was the left hand. And here, obviously throwing. I mean, it's a routine play. Solardi made an error last night that cost him a run. I mean, just catch it, but not a lot of arm strength.
Nope.
And he throws the sinker, the two-seamer over there. Teixeira usually able to catch these balls, trying to, and of course he would have been safe anyway because he didn't control the ball.
So it will be an error charged on Johnson at third base. 41st error. Yankees came in tied for 7th. Defensively, the Orioles tied for 2nd. And this year there's very little separation top to bottom defensively for teams in fielding percentage. So Nick Markakis, Orioles will try and take advantage of the first error of the ball game. Joseph at first, Markakis 0 for 2. He has struck out and grounded out. Nick will take the breaking ball on the outside corner for a strike.
Yeah, that's so amazing that the Orioles with only 54 errors last year. Here you are in game 73, and they've already made 38. That's how good it was. All-time record. And Tampa Bay also broke the record.
Yeah, so tough it is to do. 1-1 delivery on the way by Nuno, and he'll miss down low. Well, the Orioles get a shot here. They've had the leadoff man on for 3 of the 5 innings. Nuno came in retiring 65% of leadoff batters.
Yeah, you try to get a ball where you can just pull it here, and maybe it's hard to get the first and third because Ichiro throws so well in right field.
2 ball 1 strike delivery to Markakis, and that'll be up high.
That's a constant game you're playing, whether you're lefty or righty with a left-handed hitter and a runner at first, is they're trying to hook a ball into the hole, or here maybe into the seats, and you're trying to be able to establish a pitch they can't do it on. Because even if you give up a hit to left field, a double play is still in order. But if you can get those first and third situations.
Markakis check swing. Nuno's going to look to second. Bobbled it. Low throw. Nice pick by Jeter. Jeter had to play that one on the scoop to get the force out.
Yeah, the amazing thing is that he doesn't really attempt to get the sure out because he bobbles the ball and then grabs it in the air and without any hesitation makes the throw, and that's why it's low. A nice little breaking ball right here. And it gets Nick to overcommit. I mean, look at that. I mean, just caught it in the air and one continued motion made the throw to Derek Jeter.
Jeter just turned around and looked at center field after he got it. Was like, whoa. So Markakis is on fielder's choice. 1 down. Here's Pierce. Heater up and in. He has flied out twice, left and center in the ball game for Steve. 1-0 count. Pierce at .321 on the season, and the pitch is going to miss down low. 74 pitches.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen him. We talked about leading the Orioles in home runs with 10 2 springs ago. Ever hit a home run to right? But if you're ever going to do it, this is the ballpark. We've already seen that with the Nelson Cruz home run.
And that pitch will be on the outside corner. A little turnover pitch right there. 2-1.
If he can live there, he wouldn't be throwing all these home runs.
Markakis held by Teixeira at first base. 2 ball 1 strike will wait on the throw over. Markakis back to the bag.
Yeah, you can't run on this kid. I mean, here he is. I mean, they've only attempted 2 steals, 1 out of 1, or 1 out of 2, excuse me. And
that is far from his best move. He's just showing a lifted leg and tossing over. Two ball 1 strike delivery on the way, and throttled back a little bit on him but missed.
Well, yeah, and then he slide steps, and there's no reason to do that. I mean, You got to worry about when you're down by 2 runs, to worry about the guy at the plate
and know who's running.
Yeah,
I mean, no offense to Nick, but Nick is not a base stealer.
Well, it's not a running situation either. There are times when we've seen him run a little bit more than normal.
3-1 delivery and fouled off at Cervelli's feet.
He has a little bit of the Scott McGregor where he that front foot, if it comes past the pitching rubber, you have to go home. But he kind of brings it back inside the leg. So I think if you're a runner, hard to discern whether he's going home or coming to first. And you're right, he hasn't given him the good mood. This is where you think you throw over.
And fouled away again out of play. And that will stay 3-2.
The reason you do it there, in case he's running, maybe you'll pick him off. Other than that, he wasn't going anywhere.
Big hole. Pierce tried to drive that outside pitch into it between first and second. Roberts way over to cover second base. 7th pitch of this at bat. 3-2 delivery, and he got a hold of that one way back in left field. And goodbye, home run. Can you feel the sizzle? Steve Pierce is on fire. He picks up the homer. The Orioles extend their lead, his 6th home run of the season, and Pierce makes it a 5-1 lead. The Orioles' 3rd homer of the ballgame.
Yeah, another no doubt about it. 4 for 8 down in Tampa, 3 doubles, a home run, 2 hits last night, double single, couple of RBIs, and then he hits a bomb. I mean, it just, if you like souvenirs, good place to sit today. All over.
Kathy Clark has picked up another $500. Our Maryland lottery contestant, 3 home runs. She's up to $2,000 on the day. Here's Adam Jones, and he'll take the pitch for a strike.
You want to see a ball get crunched? Look at this one. 89, and it goes out of here well over 100. I'll show you the bat speed. Adam Jones's home run was 104.
That'll go to Johnson at third base. That one will be there on time. Adam, who had a home run and a walk and 2 runs scored, is retired, and there are 2 down. When the Orioles win, everyone wins, and all season long, when the Orioles win and score 5 or more runs, note the score, sports fans, you get 50% off regular menu price online orders at papajohns.com by entering promo code Orioles5. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's, valid at participating area. Baltimore area Papa John's.
Yeah, see, the Orioles are very good at providing pizza for people when they're on the road.
Exactly.
Over 5 runs a game. They have to work on it
at home
when they get home.
Yes.
Where they're scoring a little over 3. It's got to change for a lot of reasons. Pizza, wins.
They'll work on that starting Monday.
Off of Chris Sale, who's how about this? Your next 2 starting pitchers, 11-1. Tanaka will pitch tomorrow for the Yankees, and then his ERA at 1.99, and then Chris Sale's the tall lefty, 6-1 with a 2.20.
If you're going to win, you got to beat them all, right?
That's right.
So go get them.
Or not.
Or not. Whatever. They're saying the same thing. Otherwise, it wouldn't be worth playing. 0-2 count, Nelson Cruz. Cruz delivered a home run, his 23rd in the 4th inning. All 5 runs of the Orioles have come on homers. Jones the solo, Cruz for 2, Pierce for 2. And a 5-run, 5-hit attack and a 5-1 lead. Orioles have had as many as 4 home runs in a ball game this year. They did that against Pittsburgh. Got a shot at it in this one since we're only in the 5th inning.
Yeah, there's the home run at 101. Average is 77. Adams was right at 104. Get that base hit till last night. It was 68, I think. Yeah. Little jam shot to right field. He got himself an RBI.
And Nova pitching a little bit, not afraid, but concerned, as the home runs, we said, have just been a disaster for him. He had given up 12 coming in. He's given up 3 in this ball game. It was the 7th most home runs surrendered. And he had wanted nothing to do with Cruz, and his day is about done.
And then what happens is that you feel like you have to be perfect, because when you have the kind of stuff that he has and the inexperience factor, he has to be. He just doesn't throw hard enough to pitch in the middle of the plate, and that's where he's gotten in trouble this afternoon. And I think the other pitch, and he'd be a guy, and he's so young. He got released 3 years ago, and Yankees jumped on him. He had signed with the Indians. He really has to work on that changeup. I mean, that has to be a pitch that he turns into a plus pitch.
Davis Teixeira knocks it down. Only play at first base, but he gets it there for the out. So the Orioles will pick up a couple more runs, assisted by an error to extend the inning, and then Pierce took advantage of it. His 6th home run of the season. Orioles up 5-1. We'll have the final game of this 3-game set. Chris Tillman will take the mound against Masahiro Tanaka. Our coverage on MASN begins at 1:30. O's Extra presented by Dodge. Our game coverage will be at 2. All the access you need right here on MASN. And will it be a rubber match? We'll see.
Yep, Chris Tillman, good record on the road, but high ERA, and Tanaka cost him $175 million. What a bargain. About as good as there is in baseball, at least in the American League. Outstanding. Did get a no decision against the Orioles. Chris Tillman trying to get back on track, getting to where he was last year, where he won 16 games for the Orioles.
So the Orioles with a 5-1 lead, bottom half of the 5th inning. Want to welcome those watching on WJZ on this Saturday afternoon from New York, and those on the Armed Forces Network around the world. Great to have you with us, picking up our ball game here from the Bronx. Thanks for your service. Brian Roberts, strikeout, first time up. He'll put that one in the right field corner. Nick Markakis will go chase it down. Roberts on his way to second, and a leadoff double here in the 5th.
Well, the Yankees aren't done. That's rather obvious. Belt high fastball, and Brian, as you mentioned, had a hit the night before, stole 2 bases, 2 hits last night. Came in for 7 for 40 for the month of June going into last night's game, so swinging the bat a little bit better.
This will be only the second chance the Yankees have had in the ball game with a runner in scoring position. Their run coming on the Teixeira home run. Ichiro flied out to left field. His first time up, hit number 3 for the Yankees. And Ichiro takes the fastball for a strike. Suzuki with runners in scoring position, just 206, 7 for 34.
And for his career, and that's, I mean, he's age 40 now, and he's 315. One of the more amazing numbers, right up there with Jeter, maybe a couple of points harder.
Takes that for a strike, and Bud Norris gets ahead of him here, 0-2.
Well, he'd love to advance the runner, get him in, and Bud, when you get to 2 strikes now, you're thinking, where can I go to strike him out, or at least get him out without advancing the runner.
Here's the 0-2 pitch on the way, and he fouled it back. Take a look at our Jeep inside the numbers. What we were talking about with Bud.
Yeah, well, again, those are great numbers, and I'm not sure anybody could sustain them for a whole season.
No.
The point you made about only getting 55% of leadoff runners in innings. Eventually that catches up with you. And that's why the Yankees just want to get back in the game here.
Bud's career number, Jim, with runners in scoring position is 255, so he's 110 points lower this year.
And 255 is, well, the league average now, it's gone down. It's usually around 261. It's 251 in the American League, but it runs down a little bit, at least through the first 2.5 months. Or actually, yeah, I guess it is 2.5 months. And so
1-2 delivery on the way, reaching to protect. Keeps the at bat alive here with that 1-ball 2-strike count. Cervelli waiting on deck. The Orioles, home run day. Jones, Cruz, and Pierce accounting for all 5 of their runs to sheriff of the Yankees. Bud Norris with the 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. Nuno 2 walks, 3 Ks. On at second base, Roberts with a leadoff double. Here's the 1-2 delivery. Ichiro will take it outside.
Yeah, amazing career. Going to be the first Asian Hall of Famer. No doubt about that. First 10 years in the big league, Gold Gloves. First 10 years in the big leagues, over 300 with over 200 hits.
It will be a monumental day in Cooperstown. The coverage for that will be enormous. 2-2 delivery on the way, and that pitch is going to miss. So Ichiro refusing to bite on the close pitches, takes it to 3-2.
Yeah, a very discerning eye to get back into the count, and now I mean, you still have to recognize you didn't want to give up the leadoff double. You did make a good pitch. To Brian Roberts' credit, he was waiting, but you have a 4-run lead, and you want to stay away from the big inning.
3-2 count, and Norris steps off. Here's the 3-2 delivery on the way, and he wins the battle. So Norris gets a big strikeout. That is his 3rd, 1 out.
Yeah, he struck out Brian Roberts with the same kind of pitch, except that it was away. And right here, Ichiro, you never really saw this the first 10 years. Very rarely can get fooled. You can see him out on his front foot, and he's just trying to somehow play pepper with it and keep the bat alive, and couldn't do it.
That'll bring Cervelli up. Coming off the DL, he's only had 2 chances with a runner in scoring position this year. He's 0 for 2. Roberts at second. Cervelli had a single in the 3rd inning, picked up the first Yankee hit, and will take the pitch down low for a ball. Bud Norris up to the 77 pitch count.
Yeah, his pitch count this year down about a pitch an inning, or maybe a little bit below that. 17.1 last year, 16.4 this year, so pretty much the same.
1-0 delivery, runner off second, inside corner strike called. Cervelli turns around, stretches his back.
Well, the single to center was on a slider, so it's not that you can't throw it, you just can't throw the middle of the plate. So right there again, how do you catch it? Where's the glove? And Caleb has done a nice job. Caleb Joseph behind the plate for the Orioles over the course of this season.
That ball was out there, hit in the air to right. Markakis has room. Runner will tag. Roberts on his way to 3rd, but Cervelli's retired, and there are 2 away. Orioles fans can earn rewards for sharing and posting Orioles content on social media. Join the O's Bird's Nest. That's ozbirdsnest.com. You can enter today's bonus code ORANGE before midnight tonight. 2 bonus tokens, and you'll be entered to win a monthly prize of an autographed player photo or a year-end prize, 2 tickets to opening day next year. That's OriolesBirdsNest.com. So a runner at 3rd, 2 away, and Gardner, the leadoff batter. He has grounded out and drawn a walk. Even with 2 out, Manny Machado will be even with a bag at 3rd, and Roberts getting the lead there. And down to first and foul over Vic Kelleher's head, the first base coach. Gardner with a strike.
Yeah, so if he's able to get out of this inning, how key was that strikeout of Suzuki? Because otherwise Cervelli would have gotten the Yankees' 2nd run.
All about moving runners up, productive or unproductive at bats.
Small ball, Things you always talk about. I mean, you talk about them in spring training. You talk about them in the cage. Get the guy over. But if you strike out, obviously you can't do that.
Here's the 0-1 delivery to him, and a great pitch on the outside corner, and Gardner just leans on his bat.
Well, he's getting into the grading system. You've seen Derek Jeter do that over the course of his career, where you kind of stand there. I mean, most umpires, I think, would be offended by what he just did, because what you're basically telling him, it was a ball, you called it a strike, you're a jerk. I mean, that's what it tells me.
All right.
If I did that on the mound,
yeah,
well, umpires would be gesturing and all that kind of stuff.
0-2 delivery, and he's gone, and there goes the bat, and Hallion's looking at him. There goes the helmet.
We ought to throw him out.
He slams both down because he was unhappy with that called strike. Hallion just kind of walks away going, bring me 2 new balls.
Stadium. Nuno trying to win for the first time in 7 starts here in Yankee Stadium, but Adam Jones with his 13th solo to give the Orioles a 1-0 lead, and then number 23, 2-run shot, base on balls, a 2-run shot by Nelson Cruz to right center field. Orioles will take a 3-0 lead at this point, and then after an error, up comes Pierce, and he hits another home run. And that is your Geico game highlights. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Hardy, Machado, and Scope due up for the Orioles against Nuno. 6th inning. Puts that one up in the air in the infield. Roberts behind second base. Ryan will make the play, and Hardy 1 for 3 in the ball game with a base hit in the middle of the outs. 5-5-0 for the Orioles, 1-3-1 for the Yankees. That error that they made in the 5th inning resulted in one of the 2 runs being unearned. The 1 unearned run up on the board.
So you could see not a lot of fastballs, 36% of them, and a lot of breaking balls, and not too many changeups. And there's one. I mean, it looks to me that he just has to incorporate that third category, the changeup, a little bit more.
Inside, Manny Machado has flied out twice, just missed putting one out of the yard. Last time up, got a lot of it to left, right up against the wall, and the pitch will miss outside from Nuno. So Nuno with 95 pitches thrown. Yankee bullpen has not been up, neither bullpen for that matter. 2-1 delivery on the way, that'll be outside. Orioles announced here a few minutes ago Josh Stinson has cleared waivers and now must decide whether he wants to go down, accept the assignment, or be a free agent. 3-1 delivery on the way, looped in the air towards center. Ellsbury the read, and Machado's out, and there are 2 down.
Yeah, I think he thought that was the 3rd out coming in.
You're right. That'll get a little running in. For every Orioles walk, Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield contributes $50 supporting Be More for Healthy Babies. 181 walks, $9,050. Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield encourages each of us to take that first step towards a healthier and more active lifestyle. Jonathan Scope up, and the pitch is in there for a strike. Jonathan has flied out and hit into a fielder's choice. That'll be foul back.
I asked Jonathan about the swing last night. He came in, pinch hit off of David Huff and took a corkscrew swing. He said, I did it in the minors twice. Fell over twice. Like, really? Oh.
0-2 delivery to him, punched in the air to right field. Ichiro coming, can't get it. It'll be a base hit. So scope is on as he loops one in the air to right field, and the Orioles get a 2-out single in the 6th.
That's a good formula right there. Big swing, soft hit.
Hit him where they ain't, still works. That will bring up Joseph. Caleb has reached on an error and been called out on strikes. Shift is going to be put on against Joseph in the infield, and a pitch called strike on the inside corner. Joseph has thrown out a base runner. Big play made in the first inning on Gardner, who tried to steal. So the Orioles catchers with Nick Hundley and Caleb Joseph with Wieters gone have really done a good job. Noting today they have combined for 33% caught stealing. If you add the one today, they have caught 11 out of 31. A real solid number.
Well, I think there's again, attention to detail. You kind of take things for granted when Matt Wieters was behind there because of that arm before the Tommy John surgery and the elbow injury.
Got him.
Yep.
So that'll be a strikeout. That's the 4th of the game. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. The Orioles leading 5-1. T fan photo. Nobody doesn't like the bird.
That's right, Hug a Bird Day. There it is.
The popular Oriole. And now Buck Showalter's coming out. I think we are going to have a medical check here on Bud Norris. He was completing his warm-up tosses and then gave a look over to the dugout. Hallian, the home plate umpire, out to listen in.
Again, one of the reasons they reached down to the AAA level in case anything happened to one of their starters, whether it's injury or maybe inefficient pitching.
He's coming up.
Yeah.
That looks like a groin.
Brad Brock comes up. Kind of, I wouldn't say cruising along because the command hasn't been there, but with a nice 5-1 lead, it's going to have to lead.
So as he limps off, the Orioles will have a pitching change for medical reasons. Nobody was up in the bullpen, so as many tosses as necessary will be taken here, and a tough break for Norris as he will leave, having surrendered the home run to Teixeira. That's the only run the Yankees have off him, and the Orioles, this is why you make those call-ups Jim was talking about. You need to protect yourself. This isn't a real short start, but it is just the 5 innings. So the Orioles will make the decision on who to bring in here, and we'll find out when we come back to Yankee Stadium. Orioles lead it.
Lead, but it really all started through 5 straight pitches. Joseph threw out Gardner, who had walked, and then the stuff got a lot. Big strikeout right there, Suzuki with a runner at second, and then the big strikeout of Gardner. Didn't like the call, not that one, because he swung through a breaking ball. So again, a chance to win. He'll lead with a 5-1 lead. The 3 hits. He's kind of scattered the ball. Really didn't walk that many people, but he got behind a lot of hitters. But again, almost doubled up on the balls to strike, something that we saw last night with Jimenez, almost equal.
And this call to the bullpen brought to you by Jiffy Lube. This pitching change should be quick, just like a Jiffy Lube signature service oil change. At Jiffy Lube, they get you in and out fast, and you never need an appointment. This will not be as quick as a Jiffy Lube service because he hasn't warmed up in the bullpen. So you're going to have to see the complete warm-up. He tosses from behind the mound to start.
Yeah, that's kind of something that most pitchers do nowadays. A lot of times when you struggle, if you're a young pitcher, they'll actually have you throw off the back of the mound to feel what it is to get over your front side. And one of my great stories is when I first went to instructional league, they had Harry Burkeen, the pitching coach for the Orioles, and I played an A-ball for Cal Ripken Sr., and I take the warm-up ball, and I kind of, 60 feet 6 inches, I take my warm-up between, I just kind of take 2 steps in front of home plate. And Harry Burkeen looked at me, and I really didn't know him. I mean, he knew who I was, I guess. I was supposed to be some suspect or prospect. He said, you can always tell the bonus boys they never want to throw 60 feet 6 inches. It's the last time I ever threw in front of the pitching rubber. It was either behind it or from it.
A whole new definition of a bonus baby. All right, as the warm-ups continue here, we'll be back, and he'll get as many as he needs with the Orioles on top going to the 6th inning. Look on this date of baseball history. Back in 1964, Jim Bunning pitched a no-hitter. Not just that, he became the first modern-day pitcher to have a no-hitter in both leagues. And ironically, Gus Triando was the catcher, and Gus Triandos became the first catcher to have a no-hitter in each league. And in 2009, Tony La Russa, his 2,500th victory as a manager, joining Connie Mack and John McGraw as the only 3 managers in Major League history to reach the mark. Tony, of course, is going into the Hall of Fame this July. He played with the Kansas City A's, the Oakland A's, Atlanta Braves, and Chicago Cubs. He was voted in by the Veterans Committee. He'll be inducted as one of 3 managers and 6 total inductees this coming July. Tony originally signed as a bonus baby, Jim, you were talking about. He signed with the Kansas City A's immediately following high school. And congratulations to Tony, Bobby Cox, and of course Joe Torre, who all are going in.
Yeah, you got 2,700 plus wins. You got 2,500 winners for Bob Cox and 2,200 plus wins for Joe Torre. I actually faced Tony La Russa in Clearwater, Florida, in instructional league.
Really?
And I pitched a 7-inning game, gave up 1 hit. He got the only hit. And I'm not exaggerating. It was about an 18 roller into right field. And that's 1964, right?
Yep.
Since then, especially now that he's gotten the Hall of Fame, it's become a line drive.
Yeah, I bet. And I bet in Cooperstown this year it'll be a smash.
Right, it should have been an inside the Parker, but fortunately the right fielder had to come in and pick it up, and it was laying still.
I'm going to tell him that story and see what he says.
Well, when he got in the Hall of Fame, I texted him. I said, you know, that rolling stinger, that high chopper you hit in the right field, it's become a line drive now that you're a Hall of Famer. But 3 terrific managers. And the one thing, you know, obviously Tony was a bonus boy. People forget how good a player Joe Torre was.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
MVP in 71. I mean, with what, 150 some RBIs
Great
and
bat.
30 some home runs.
Yep. Well, Ryan Webb is ready to go. He's taking his warm-up tosses, coming on for Norris, who had to leave the physical problem, and will go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Webb will be working against Jeter, Ellsbury, and Teixeira, as the Orioles have the 5-1 lead. So a long delay for everybody, including Nuno, who's sitting over there as the starting pitcher for the Yankees through all of this. It's already a very long inning, if it had been an inning, instead of just a warm-up time for Webb.
And he's been terrific for the Orioles, as Mike Bardick will always say, sinker, slider, and he's added a changeup.
And Jeter goes after the first pitch, backhanded by Scope, sets himself, and records the out.
It's kind of like the 3-step drop by a quarterback right there. That's the way Bobby Grich used to play it. A lot of second basemen will kind of go up and do the Baryshnikov, where they come off their feet. But when you have this kind of arm, I mean, it's kind of, you try to slow the play down, and he's able to do that. You can see Webb take the glove away, catch it, there it is, and then set yourself, and then throws a BB over there. A nice play.
Webb appearing for the 2nd time against the Yankees this year, worked an inning and a third and had 2 strikeouts, zeros across. That was in the first series of the year these 2 teams played. Here is Ellsbury. He has walked and flied out, and Webb's pitch to him will be taken down low for a ball. So the Orioles to go to the bullpen a little earlier than they would have liked to. Webb signing as a free agent, 2-year deal back in December of last year with the Orioles. Here's the 1-0 delivery, and that ball lashed in the air to left center. Pierce, his busy day continues, and he's caught them all. And there are 2 down. Next Saturday, the first 20,000 fans 15 and over at the Orioles Rays game. It's a 4:05 afternoon game. We'll get the Chris Davis Crush City Performance t-shirt. You can add this unique new design to your Birdland wardrobe. For tickets, Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD. That's O's Rays next Saturday. 2 away. Here's Teixeira. He crushed one.
Yeah, over his head.
4th inning, drilled one into right center.
So that's where Ryan Webb wants to live, and that's down at the knees. And 1 home run, and that's all the way back. That was in the Tiger game, all the way back on the 4th of April. Other than that, he's kept the ball in the ballpark. He's really done a great job, and one of those guys, if you're Dan Duquette, Vice President of Baseball Operations, General Manager, whatever you want to call it, Dan, because he does it all. you look around and say, okay, who can we get that's going to help our ball club? And Ryan Webb pitched well for the Marlins, but again, because of his service time, arbitration eligible, they thought he might be too expensive. Orioles said, a good acquisition, and he's pitched great for him.
0-2 delivery with a shift on, up. He last worked against Tampa Bay in the 17th, an inning and 2/3, and had a strikeout and pitched well. He's retired 26 of the 32 first batters faced. Ramirez first warm-up action for the Yankees. Teixeira 2 down, nobody on. The 1-2 pitch will miss a little bit inside, maybe low, and the count will go to 2-2.
Well, I'm sure Ryan paid attention. He knows where that home run was, and I mean, it was literally letter high.
Big shift on against him. Teixeira goes the other way off the end of the bat. Jones will back up in center. And he says to Pierce, let me have one. And he does. And a 1-2-3 inning for Webb. Our Honda do-ups. Nick Markakis, Steve Pierce, and Adam Jones.
Miller time brought to you by Miller Lite. Now Steve Pierce red hot, and it continues. Third home run of the afternoon, a 2-run shot. Error by Kelly Johnson. And Joe Girardi will do the head scratch. Runs 4 and 5, and that is your Miller Lite moment. And Steve Pierce wants more of those.
And Nuno will come back out after that long wait and face the top of the order.
Probably maybe one batter. Pitch count at 103.
Yeah.
Might be lefty-lefty. He's done a really nice job, at least over the last, 4 or 5 starts against left-handers.
Nick Markakis reached on a fielder's choice in the 5th inning. He's officially 0 for 3. He scored ahead of Pierce on the home run. Pitch will be in there for a strike. Orioles trying to set up the rubber match tomorrow. 2-2 against the Yankees overall. These teams got a lot of games left to be played here, 19 total, and that pitch is down low. So Nick on the 84-mile-an-hour take gets it to 2-1.
Yeah, see a lot of, I mean, as we told you before, a lot of orange, but they're way up or way out here at Yankee Stadium.
Ball put in the air, right center field. Great speed, Ellsbury. He gets a jump and then he just flies.
Now, former #1 guy by the Red Sox. Here does come Girardi, but he can run him down. Well, you think it's going to be extra base hits. You hit it pretty well, and he's playing straight away. Actually, maybe a step to left center. Makes it look routine.
So it'll be 6 1/3 innings with 5 runs, 4 earned, and 6 hits off Nuno. Yankees go to the pen.
home run, came in with 11, throws 3 more home runs, and the error certainly hurts him. But the three were home runs, solo by Jones, 2-run shots by Nelson Cruz and Steve Pearce. So Jose Ramirez, he comes up, 24-year-old right-hander, and made his major league debut earlier against Oakland, back on the 4th of the month of June. Gave up a solo home run to Josh Donaldson, who hit his 18th last night. So he's been around twice this year, used out of the bullpen, missed some time with an oblique strain, but a young pitcher that they used as a starter coming up through the minor leagues. And he gets to face Steve Pearce.
Pearce with a home run in the 5th inning. His 6, good for 2 RBIs, 1 for 3. Steve now with a 4-game hit streak and looking for his 4th consecutive multi-hit game. If he can pick up another one here. And the pitch will be taken away for a ball.
Well, if you were having a pitching meeting and you're saying how are we going to get Steve Pearce out, it's going to be one of those high and tight, low and away, because anything in the middle of the plate he's hitting pretty well.
Way outside again with a sweeping arm delivery coming across the body, Ramirez.
So and it's at 95.
Hard throw, worked his way up from AA, AAA combined last season. 2-0 delivery. Pearce taking all the way, and 3-0 delivery rather, and that's going to be ball 4. So reliever comes on and walks the first batter he faces. Follow every Orioles game all season long with MLB.com at bat on your favorite mobile phone or tablet. At bat brings you baseball wherever you are. Instant replay scores, free MLB TV game of the day, and live pitch-by-pitch tracking, and much more. Download MLB.com at bat on the App Store. Go to Orioles.com today.
Now you look at minor league numbers and you get a little bit of an indication. Again, used as a starter, 21 walks in 31 innings. That was a AAA last year, and again a AA. Maybe they swing a few more pitches. 15 walks in 42 innings, so he can walk some people.
Jones has delivered a home run, solo shot 1st inning. He's walked and scored, and he is grounded out.
But 95 in that location is going to get a lot of people out.
0-1 count. We're in the 7th here in our Saturday day game, and the Orioles had the lead since the 1st inning when they got a run on the Jones homer. Adam will put that one in the air to center. Ellsbury. Pearce will head back to first. 2 down. Yankees have the 4-game win streak. They have won as many as 5 in a row this season. Orioles trying to put an end to the win streak here today, and it will bring up Cruz. Cruz delivered a home run in the 4th inning, his 23rd. Good for 2 RBIs. He's also drawn a walk. So the DH officially 1 for 2 in the ball game. His first home run against the Yankees this year, his 10th against the Yankees in his career. And 6 of them have been here at the ballpark. And the pitch taken for a strike. 0-1 on Nelson Cruz. Put a shift on, but not all the way around in the infield.
Yeah, it's kind of the old time type of shift where you just play the second baseman up the middle.
Brian Roberts calling for it. Ball drifting with the wind. He'll put it away. No runs, no hits, no errors. 1 left on base. And here at Yankee Stadium, the Orioles with a 5-1 lead. It is 7th inning stretch time. Orioles and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Baltimore Orioles. For the Orioles, it has been about the home runs. Nuno surrendered one in the first inning. Adam Jones would pick it up, 13th of the year. Not to be done, though. Cruz, 23rd of the year, 2 RBIs, 4th inning. Pierce, long one to left. That's good for 2 RBIs, his 6th home run of the season. And the Orioles have a 5-1 lead. Another sellout crowd, 3rd of the year here at Yankee Stadium. 47,165. 4-7-1-6-5. We understand Norris came out with a groin pull, right groin problem. That's what took him out of the ballgame. And Webb came on, retired the side in order in the 6th inning. We'll ask Bias to do a little long relief work here in the bottom of the 7th. Beltran, Johnson, and Roberts.
Well, he throws a lot of strikes, keeps the ball in the ballpark, like we mentioned, only the 1 home run all the way back in his 2nd appearance. And if you look over the course of Ryan Webb's career, I think this is probably what Dan Duquette looked at, not only last year, but he's faced over 1,300 batters, and he's given up 14 home runs. And that's where the sinker and the slider and pitching down in the zone. You would think he'd be the perfect guy as long as he's healthy and he makes his pitches to pitch anywhere, especially in Camden Yards, which, even though the Orioles haven't scored a lot of runs, seems to favor the hitter.
So we'll go to the bottom of the 7th. Beltran will lead it off, 0 for 2, couple of fly ball outs. Orioles will play him deep straight away in the outfield and the infield for that matter. The switch hitter will take the first pitch and it will miss for a ball. 222 right, 231 left for Beltran. This has been the home run side. 5 of his 7 have been hit left-handed.
Yeah, the bone chip is going to have an operation at the end of the year. Kind of moves around and got it injected. He was behind the cages after he hit throwing, but he said some days you can get full extension, sometimes you can. So I can imagine he'll probably be the DH most of the rest of the year.
Taken outside for a ball, and that will fit into what the Yankees need here. Webb falls behind on him, 3-0. It's what the Yankees need, of course, base runners. Beltran took advantage of that in the 9th inning. Ball game last night.
Yeah, one of the keys last night, obviously, is getting the hits by the lefties off of Britton, a left-hander, and boy, he misses that pitch.
4 in a row.
Yeah, well, Hallian just didn't call it, and he looked in. But the one thing, you did throw the first 3 pitches far enough away that he had no opportunity but to call them balls.
So the leadoff man on for the Yankees here in the 7th inning. That will bring Johnson to the plate. So Norris walked 2, Webb now 1.
So do you play off the base a little bit? But even last night in the 9th inning, the walk of Teixeira by Britton was key.
Infield swung around, playing Johnson to pull. And the pitch to him, and that's going to miss, and that will bring Joseph out to the mound.
Well, in the old days, that would have brought Earl Weaver out to the mound. But he's getting squeezed here. That ball is over the plate, as was the last one. And Caleb Joseph going, hey, wait a minute, you know what? Let's get back into it. You're a ground ball pitcher. Maybe you can throw a double play ball. Of course, Kelly Johnson's looking to either hit one in the stands or hook one into right field, and that's what he does.
253 career average for Johnson, who has played in Atlanta, Arizona, Toronto, and last year Tampa Bay. Delivery to him on the 1-0, and that is in there for a strike. Beltran going nowhere at first. Beltran not running well, so anything into the outfield on a base hit, the Orioles try and hold him to 1 base if that happens. 1 ball, 1 strike delivery, and that ball is in the air to left. What new? Pierce is there. He's got it. All right, we're going to run the check now because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6 putouts for Steve Pierce. Adam Jones is over there asking Pierce to give him a chance. to catch a few fly balls, please.
He did.
We're going to see whether that's the high for the season for putouts by an outfielder for the Orioles. It has to be, doesn't it?
I would think so.
7? That's a lot. You get 2 or 3 in a ball game.
I had Paul Blair here. I talked him, Earl Weaver, into playing him, and it's a 2-0 shutout. I think he had 8 or 9, and I wanted him in there because he was on,
because he caught it.
Yes, 8-time Gold Glove winner. You want him, or you want the aging Jim Northrup in center field driving in 2 and giving up 4. I go, no. I can get a raise losing 1-0, 2-0. Put Blair in.
Now we're back to WAR. See, you knew about WAR and you didn't even know it.
Yeah.
Here's Roberts, a double and a strikeout. Runner at first with 1 away. Infield double play depth. And Bryant will take the pitch away. And it goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. Orioles get Brian Mattis up in the bullpen. Brian, just in case he's needed here in the 7th.
Well, here's your left-handed matchup guy.
Ichiro waiting on deck. And Cervelli. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ball lashed again. Markakis over. It's going to be a base hit. And it'll roll. That will allow Beltran to make his way to third base. Brian Roberts had not been hitting much, but for the arrival of the Orioles, 2 for 4 last night and 2 for 3 in the ball game today.
Yeah, well, we talked about the base hit on Thursday night, but he's a smart hitter. And he knows he's a better low ball hitter at this point in his career than he is up. Early on, I mean, he could hit anything, and he just looks for his pitch, and he kind of hooked it into the. Hit it softly enough that Beltran could get all the way to third.
So runners on at first and third, and only 1 down. And Ichiro coming up, he has struck out and flied out in the ball game. And for the Orioles, it's a little touchy here in the 7th inning. They're ahead by 4. Machado even with a bag at third. Long hold, pitch to him. That's in there for a strike. Brian Roberts now on the year against the Orioles has picked up 5 hits in 15 at bats. And they'll keep an eye on him over there with only 1 out. Webb, that high set, long hold. And Ichiro takes it. Just missed. 1-1.
Yeah, this is probably a closer game. You might see a possible steal. And Brian 7 steals caught 4 times. But I don't think he wants to get thrown out. Not after what Joseph did back in the first when he threw Gardner out.
One ball, 1 strike count. Throw over. And Roberts back. Yankees looking for their first hit with a runner in scoring position. They are 0 for 4 today. 4 for 16 in the first 2 games.
Yeah, one of the keys for Brian, and we saw him steal in 3 consecutive years, 30, 40, 50 bases, is you just don't want to give him that running lead. Make him stop.
1-1 count.
One way to do it is hold the ball.
Ichiro will take it as it comes in. They check to see if he went. He does not. Eric Cooper at third. And a 2-ball, 1 strike count on Ichiro. Ichiro has been very selective in the at-bats in these first 2 games.
Yeah, Kevin Long, the hitting instructor with the Yankees, said he's probably the most disciplined certainly he's seen him.
Only 25 strikeouts, 12 walks. Getting over the 140 at-bat mark. And there's a great pitch. Catches the outside corner, the 84-mile-an-hour delivery, 2-2. So Webb looking for the ground ball. Get that double play, get out of the inning. But keep Ichiro off base.
Yeah, it's going to have to be really either to the second baseman's right or right at J.J. Hardy, the shortstop, to turn him up because he still runs well.
2-2 is way outside. That one got away. So the count goes to 3-2. The Yankees pressing to try and get the potential tying run to the plate. Cervelli's on deck, the number 9 hitter. Beltran got the walk. He's the third. Roberts a single at first. See if Roberts goes here. 3-ball, 2-strike count. Runner not going, and Ichiro will go down swinging.
Well, gutsy pitch, and I mean, this is the way you do it at the big league level. You're not predictable. You know, he throws a sinker, but it's just a slider, and it's not a really good one, except the fact it's 3-2, and he's not looking for it. So this is back-to-back, not back-to-back times, but twice this afternoon that Ichiro Suzuki has struck out in pivotal times. And it goes back to what you were talking about, over 300 lifetime with runners in scoring position, but at least not to that point this season.
Nope, not even close. Here's Cervelli, base hitting. He's flied out to right field. 2 down. Runners remain at first and third. Roberts has not extended his lead at first. Delivery on the way and a ground ball toward short. Hardy is there. Got a force at second. Scope, and Webb works his way out. No runs on 1 hit, no errors. 2 are left on base. 7 complete here in New York, and the Orioles lead at 5-1. Game is all about the long ball.
Yeah, I think the Orioles learned their lesson on the 3-run home run by Beltran for the win for the Yankees last night. So you better hit your own home runs. It started with Adam Jones, the solo, his 13th, and then Nelson Cruz, his 23rd to right center field, and then Pierce is hot as anybody. After the error by Kelly Johnson, he smoked one way just to the left of the bullpens, or at least the Oriole bullpen here at Yankee Stadium. And so 5 runs, and you did it early. Norris was kind of cruising along till the groin injury.
So the Orioles will try and add to it as they go to the 8th inning. It'll be Davis, Hardy, and Machado due up. Chris has doubled, flied out, and grounded out. Chris with a couple of hits now in the series, 2 for 8, and he will take the pitch for a strike. Chris starting the day 5th in strikeouts in the American League. He had 199 Ks last year. Pace a little less than that actually right now. Pitch is outside.
Yeah, I mean, you start looking, you go on some of the Stats Inc. and whatever, they'll tell you, 3.3 strikeouts per nine innings, and he's pretty much right in that range.
He's with his, we mentioned the other night, he's with his career numbers. I mean, that's where he is this year. Last year, an aberration? Well, to some degree, yes, for any ball player to have the year he had.
Yeah, the 53 home runs and 138 RBIs, but 30 home runs is not out of the reason. And he's probably on a pace to do that. I think the one number that jumps out, I mean, for his career, batting average and balls put into play is 330, and that's high for a strikeout guy. This year, much lower, and I think that has the fact that he's been so good. 274. That's a discernible difference.
3-1 delivery and a strike called on the outside corner. We tried to get Jim Presley to weigh in on that, last week when the Orioles were home, the meaning of the average on balls put in play. Jim Presley's response we will bleep out. And a swing and a miss, and Davis will go down swinging. That's the first strikeout for Ramirez.
Well, when you're down back 3-1 and you're 24 years old and you throw a slider and then you come back with this pitch, I mean, this is dead red. And you hit my best fastball and outside middle of the plate at 95. For a young pitcher, gutsy pitch, 3-1, and Chris is going, well, pretty nasty.
That's some closer type stuff, isn't it?
Well, I think the other thing is, and you talked about kind of the side winding. I mean, a little bit of Don Drysdale, maybe not quite as tall. Double D was almost 6'6", but angle and release point has a lot to do with it.
Hardy takes one that bounces off the plate. JJ's had a single. He's 1 for 3 in the ball game, 2 for 7 so far in the series. Hardy, 4 lifetime home runs in this ballpark for the 9 he's had against the Yankees. 2-0 delivery on the way, and he rifles that one left field, going back. Goodbye, home run. Get rid of that over. J.J. Hardy gets rid of that monkey on his shoulder as he delivers the home run, his first of the year. He had gone 87 games and 338 at-bats between home runs. Let's see if they watch the dugout. Will they freeze him? I think so. They're not going to say a word. Look at this. Not a word. So he's doing the Davis thing, high-fiving himself, pouring water on his head. That's good. So Hardy gets the homer, and the Orioles get a 6-1 lead.
And he can start breathing now.
Yeah. That was a classic. You got to believe he knew that was coming when he started.
Yeah,
back.
He's been around long enough to know.
Manny Machado walked right by him, never said a word to him as he went to the plate.
Well, integral part of the Orioles' offense and defense is J.J. Hardy. So,
and that's a called third strike.
Yeah, see, I mean, it's funny. He doesn't get a whole lot of balls up and in, and they took his hands. As you're talking about Jim Presley, the hitting instructor said, "Move your hands away a little bit," but that wasn't like it was 90. It was 95 and up and in, and he just got to it, and that's what JJ can normally do. So now he can probably get back to doing that without having to think about it.
Yep. 2 down. Here is Jonathan Schoop. The Orioles have tied their output in homers on the year, 4. As we mentioned earlier, they had 4 against Pittsburgh. They've got 4 in this game, accounting for all 6 runs. Schoop with a base hit. He is 1 for 3. And the pitch down low.
The thing about Ramirez, when a guy has a power arm like that, and delivery a whole nother issue as far as the deception, is you're hitting off the fastball. So when he gets behind and you're early in the count, like J.J. Hardy, he's just trying to hit a fastball, and he put a good swing on it.
Second home run surrendered by Ramirez in the 6 innings that he's worked with the big club this year. Boy, it's got to feel good for Hardy. Oh, man.
Well, I think it feels good for all of them.
Yeah.
Because, the Orioles hadn't really had winning seasons until he arrived. And so all of a sudden, I mean, he comes back, everybody patting him on the back because, like I said, he's such an important part of this ball club.
One of their leaders.
Yeah, well, he's trying to get hot because Pierce is doing the rubbing. Oh, yeah, back up breaking ball. So not on purpose. Spinner going to get hit. Not that it doesn't hurt. This is the kind of pitch you want to get hit on. And he does it the right way. Even he just turns into it or turns away from it. Doesn't get the wrist. But it's so far inside. Almost hits the number 6 on his back.
Second hit batter for Ramirez. On base is Schoop, and Joseph comes to the plate. He's reached on an error and been called out on strikes twice, and will foul that one back into the screen. Caleb Joseph with what we'll never know how much it mattered, but a big play in the game in that first inning when Gardner had a leadoff walk and he tossed him out, and that seemed to settle Bud Norris down a bit and ended what could have been a threat for the Yankees in that first inning, and they haven't run since. Here's the 0-1 delivery to him, and a strike on the outside corner. 2 down here.
Well, what it did was erase what Bud Norris didn't want to do. You present your starting pitcher with a one-run lead on the home run by Jones. He comes out. He doesn't want to walk anybody. Throws 4 in a row. Throws another pitch to Jeter. And on that pitch, which ball 5 straight, Joseph throws him out.
Caleb was a little concerned on that pitch because that's the one he's been called out on, that location, that down and away fastball. He didn't turn around to look at Tom Hallion. He just waited, hoping he wasn't going to hear anything, and he didn't. Runner off first, the 1-2 delivery to him, foul back. Well, the Orioles up 6-1, 6 runs on 7 hits in the ball game with the 4 home runs. 2 RBI shots by Pierce and Cruz, and the solo home runs by Jones and Hardy. Teixeira holding the bag at first. Here's the 1-2 delivery. Ramirez gets it in and will get his 3rd strikeout. But the Orioles add another here in the 8th. 1 run on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base as J.J. Hardy ends the over as far as the homers are concerned, picking up his 5th career home run here at Yankee Stadium. And adding another big run to make it a 6-1 ball game. And Webb worked a couple of innings for the Orioles. Ryan Webb gave up just 1 hit, walked 1, struck out 1. He's gone. The lefty on.
Yeah, Brian Mattis trying to settle down. In the last 10 appearances, 9 runs, 8 of them earned. So, I mean, perfect game to come in and try to do. I mean, and spring training was all about, as a starting pitcher, and that's what he did, to try to get the average down against right-handed batters. You can see it's higher than he wants. And part of that is establishing the down and away part of the zone with his changeup and his fastball, something he did when he was a starter. So perfect time not only to get some outs, but also to get the confidence back. And you match up a little bit here with Gardner, a lefty, leading off.
Leadoff batter for the Yankees has an 0 for 2 and a walk in the ball game. Gardner just 2 for 13 lifetime off Brian Mattis. Only 4 hits for the Yankees in the game. The home run by Teixeira, their only run. They've left 5 on base, 2 of those in scoring position, and are 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. Pitch will be taken for a strike on the inside corner. Brian working against the Yankees for the 3rd time. He's pitched an inning and a third, given up a run on 2 hits, a walk, and a strikeout this year. Gardner, Jeter, and Ellsbury. 0-1. Breaking ball. Wow.
Yeah,
that's some movement.
Yep, that's the curveball. And a lot of times he goes away from that, throws the slider, which is a little bit harder.
Right back with you tomorrow for what the Orioles hope will be the rubber match of this 3-game set. Chris Tillman, Masahiro Tanaka. Foul back into the screen. Gardner holding it at 0-2. Tommy Hunter now in the bullpen for the Orioles. Brad Brock, remember, was brought up today. Kevin Gausman was sent down to AAA. He actually has to go physically to Norfolk, required by the rules, but he's not going to miss a start, according to Buck Showalter. Fouled off. He'll be called up as the 26th player. You can call up an extra player for doubleheaders. So when the Orioles have Tampa Bay for 2 next Friday, he'll be the 26th man, and then will be making the start and then be available for his next start.
It sounds like a Texas A&M 12th man type of thing.
It does, doesn't it? Working the rules. 0-2 delivery on the way, and a fastball that's going to miss inside at 91.
Well, that'll get your attention if you're Brett Gardner. Have you ever done you used to do football, right? Ever done a football game in A&M, College Station?
I have.
They say it's something.
It's something. Here's the 1-ball 2-strike delivery on the way. It is a wild celebration
yeah.
that lasts for 4 or 5 days. And just happens to be a football game in between. No, it's a great setting. I mean, unbelievable college town.
Well, my wife grew up there, so she has told me.
Fouled away. There aren't many who don't look forward to home games during the football season. College Station. 2 balls, 2 strikes. You have to stay in a hotel that's at least 30 miles away if you intend to get any sleep for the night before the game. 2-2 delivery and a fastball. Got him. He marked the spot. Gardner again doesn't like it.
Yeah, well, I think this is a little retribution from the last time when he threw his helmet and the bat. And this ball's outside. Brian Mattis doesn't care. There you go. I still remember, I think my second year, George Scott was hitting and Bill Kunkel was doing the umpiring, and George Scott, he's a terrific hitter, great player, MVP I think in 74. Came up with the Red Sox, but was the MVP for the Brewers, and he didn't like a call, and Bill Kunkel told Andy Etchebarren, and he said, just sit a little bit farther outside. That was strike 2. And then Bill tapped him on the shoulder. This time even go a little bit farther. Strike 2, strike 3. George got tossed.
That was great. It wouldn't happen anymore.
No, and Bill Kunkel made his point.
Yeah. And the umpires weren't afraid to do that then. But now with every move and every word recorded and reviewed, they have to be more straight up. 0-1 count on Jeter. Jeter an 0 for 3. He's 0 for 7 in the 2 games. And the pitch will be taken up high. Derek Jeter, a lifetime .302 average against the Orioles. He has had 24 home runs against the O's, and of course, as far as games played are concerned, 278th career game against the Orioles. Down to third, short hop, knocked down, still time. Machado guns it, won't get him.
Beebe. And Manny plays a little like Brooksy used to do. Brooks Robinson, 16 Gold Gloves, just trying to keep it in front of you. And that ball short hops him, comes right up, and could be scored either way. We'll see.
It's a hit.
Now everybody's saying the one thing about Derek Jeter, he'll turn 40 next month and still runs every ball out. We talked about Adam Jones doing it. He's done it his whole career. So 6-1, nothing routine.
So a base hit for Jeter with 1 away. Ellsbury up. He is 0 for 2. Couple of fly balls to left field, and he has drawn a walk. We're waiting for one more fly ball to left. Whoa, all the way to the backstop on the fly, and rebounds all the way back out. Jeter standing at first base.
Well, it's almost like he crossed him up because I mean, watch this. He's sitting away, and the ball is a curveball up and in, and I mean, does go for it. But they come out and have a little conversation. It's a spinner that just stays up and up. It's almost like I think Caleb Joseph thought it was going to hit him in the shoulder of the helmet.
And Ellsbury took a long walk back after he got away from that one. So Jeter stays at first base. Even if he'd taken off, I don't think he'd have made it. The ball came right back to Caleb Joseph. 1-0 delivery on the way and a fastball, and Ellsbury wanted to respond with a home run and took the big cut.
Yeah, that is one of the differences. I mean, the ball seems to carry a little bit more here than it did at the old stadium, the original Yankee Stadium, but behind home plate was much bigger, and it went downhill at old Yankee Stadium. So that ball would have stayed way back. It would have.
That's going to go into right field for a base hit. Jeter will stop at second. Ellsbury's first hit of the ball game. And the Yankees here in the 8th have 2 on and 1 out. That will be it for Brian Madden.
And Buck Showalter's never going to come out and say this, but it drives him crazy when you bring somebody in, and this is an opportunity, number one, for Brian to get his confidence back. You know, Machado maybe could have made the play, but it was scored a base hit and doesn't make a good pitch to Ellsbury, and now you got to go to your bullpen. Didn't want to do that.
So to the bullpen, the Orioles will be using their 3rd pitcher out of the pen today. Trend last night fresh on the minds of both of these teams. Here's Tommy Hunter in the 8th.
He pitched very well in Tampa in the Gausman game on Wednesday. Came in and pitched 2 scoreless innings. So the numbers, obviously, by right-handers last year, they were what, 146, 354 this year. So certainly inflated. Spent some time on the disabled list with the groin problem left side. They had done that about 3 years ago down in Texas. So the Orioles looking for outs, and that's what you start doing. Get yourself a 5-run lead. They have a couple of guys on. You need 5 outs with the lead to end this game. And as you mentioned, it looked like everything was in order last night. Britton hadn't given up a run but 1 run in 21 innings. And next thing you know, the Yankees with a walk-off win, and Tommy can make the difference here.
So the Yankees have 2 on here in the 8th inning. Jeter and Ellsbury. Teixeira had a home run in the 4th inning. Solo shot his 12th, accounting for the only run the Yankees have. He is 2 for 9 off Hunter, and the fastball will turn him inside. Tommy has one of his saves against the Yankees this year. It's only his 2nd game. He's 1 for 1 in saves. He worked 1 inning, gave up a run on 2 hits this season against the Yankees. Teixeira, 1 out, and the pitch will be a strike on the outside corner. So the Yankees trying to strike again late in the ball game. 6-7-0 for the Orioles, 1-6-1 for the Yankees.
And we saw, I mean, ultimately it was a 3-run home run that did in the Orioles, but it was a couple of singles by Gardner and McCann that kept the inning alive, and that was in the 9th. It doesn't, even though Teixeira is a home run guy, already hit the home run for the only run, he doesn't have to get a base hit to keep this inning alive.
Tommy Hunter, runners off first and second. Teixeira is going to go to first. Davis, and that will be that. The runners freeze, and there's a big second out here in the 8th inning. Two down.
That's what you're looking for, and you get behind him. And Tommy doesn't walk a whole lot of guys, but 3 walks in his last 3 appearances. So coming back and making Mark Teixeira put the ball in play.
Beltran is going to face Hunter for the first time. He's drawn a walk and flied out twice. We were talking about Steve Pearce in left field. We need one more to go to Pearce. 6 putouts, tied for the most by an Oriole this year. Jones, and has done it twice, and Markakis twice in the outfield on putouts. And so we're waiting to see if he can get one more. The delivery swung on, put up in the air. Jonathan Scope, Davis wants it, and he's got it in foul territory. So Hunter comes on and gets it done. No runs on a couple of hits, no errors. 2 are left on base, and the Orioles go to the 9th leading. And by American Standard, celebrate the indoors today with up to $1,100 instant rebates or flexible financing. Visit your local American Standard dealer at midatlanticcomfort.com. The new Yankee Stadium, the old Yankee Stadium, is where those kids are playing. It is called Heritage Field. They took that whole area where the stadium was and some parking, and they've made soccer fields, baseball parks, all kinds of areas over there for youngsters to play. It's great. And a lot of kids over there today when we came in and still out there playing.
Is that AstroTurf or real grass?
I don't know. Real grass, I think. Ball is fouled back into the screen by Nick Markakis. Manny Machado talking with his infield coach Bobby Dickerson about that last ball that he didn't really misplay, but how to get it. Markakis on a fielder's choice reached in the 5th and scored ahead of Pearce on the home run. Ramirez on the mound. Nuno worked 6 1/3, 5 runs, 4 earned, 6 hits. He walked 2, struck out 4. Ramirez has a walk and 3 strikeouts to his credit, working in the top of the 9th inning. 1-1 delivery on the way, and that'll be fouled back. Bud Norris started for the Orioles. He had a run on 3 hits over 5. Had to come out with a right groin pull. A couple of walks, 4 strikeouts. Webb went 2 innings, a hit, a walk, and a strikeout. Ryan Mattis, a third of an inning, 2 hits, a strikeout, and Tommy Hunter on. And we'll see if Zach Britton gets up. This is not a save situation, so Hunter will probably stay. 1-2 delivery, and that will miss. Nick was almost on his tiptoes, headed back to the dugout.
Well, it's good his name is not Brett Gardner. He would be back there.
It's good to be nice.
Yeah. Well, he never turns around. Very rarely says anything to an umpire.
Here's the 2-2 delivery on the way, and the jam shot will be fouled off. Pierce and then Jones due up for the Orioles here in the 9th. Orioles with a 33-3 record when they have the lead after 8. The walk-off last night was the 3rd time the Orioles have lost a ball game in those situations. April 20 they lost at Boston, May 27 at Milwaukee, and that will be outside.
Well, you better tune it up for Mr. Tanaka with his 11-1 record, and today they're back to where they have been all year, which is over 5 runs a game on the road.
6-1 lead here in the 9th inning. Here's the 3-2 delivery. Ramirez will get him.
Well, this kid's got an arm, and I mean the perfect guy to come in. I mean, other than the home run that he threw up and into J.J. Hardy, his first of the year. But he can give you some innings, and again, as a former starter coming through the minor leagues, even though he was used out of the bullpen, plus arm.
And only 24. Steve Pierce. Pierce with the 2-run homer came in the 5th inning. He's walked 1 for 3 officially, and the strike taken on the outside corner.
Yeah, when you start throwing like this, and Guskocic used to throw a little bit harder, but he has a similar where you kind of turn your back and a lot of deception. Now he just has to grow a goatee and pitch well enough to get to the Hall of Fame.
Goose is going to be here for Old Timers Day tomorrow for the Yankees. He's going to be honored with a plaque in Monument Park.
I thought I heard them say that was it the 31st or the oh, look at this.
Another base hit and a 4th straight multi-hit game for Steve Pierce.
Yeah, you want to throw them fastballs, and that's what they do. I mean, they may not always get base hits because it's tough to hit at this level. So David Lowe's going to come in. 6 putouts, and you got to leave for defense.
Yeah. Well, he tied the mark for the Orioles anyway. So Lowe will run, and a home run single, 2 for 4 ball game for Pierce. First time in his career he's ever had 4 consecutive multi-hit games. In fact, it was the first time he'd ever had 3, and he ties the mark this year with the 6 putouts in left field for an outfielder. Now Adam Jones with a runner on and 1 down. Ramirez fastball is in there for a strike. By the way, the major league record, we looked at that for putouts by an outfielder, is 9. It has been accomplished 3 times. That's this season. It's a lot of outs.
Really?
Fly ball pitching staff, you get them. Here's the 0-1 delivery on the way inside. Orioles 3 outs away from setting up the rubber match for the Sunday game tomorrow. Then the Orioles will head home after that for 3 against Chicago. Here's the 1-1 delivery, and couldn't hold up. 1-2.
Yeah, 95 low and away.
Orioles homestand Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday nights against Chicago. Day off Thursday. Doubleheader Friday the 27th against Tampa Bay, and then day games on Saturday and Sunday. That's up the middle, and that's going to be a base hit. Lowe will stop as Ellsbury will get it back in, and Adam Jones has a 2-hit day, homer and a single. The Orioles trying to add to their lead here in the 9th inning. Nobody up in the Yankee bullpen at the moment. Somebody's getting up. Ramirez surrendered the home run to Hardy in the 8th, and now the 2 singles here in the 9th.
And Larry Rothschild out again to talk to the youngster. In fact, looks like a lot of Jeters coming in. There's really nothing wrong with this kid other than This is the big leagues, and if you throw 95 on the corner, they usually don't hit it. You throw 95 in the middle of the plate, Jones is right back up the middle. I mean, he couldn't even get the bat off his shoulder because it was perfectly located with great velocity. And then you move it over a little bit, and they're ready.
So the discussion held. Bullpen gets a chance for 3 or 4 tosses. The Orioles have runners on at first and second. Cruz coming up. A home run, his 23rd, 4th inning, 2 RBIs. He has struck out, walked, and popped out. And he will take the pitch for a strike. So Nelson's bat, 10-day period where it's off a little bit here, first of the month. Cruz looks like seating right back up to where he was before. He's had 3 home runs now in June, and will pop that one up in the air. Cervelli gets rid of the mask and is able to run it down without running over Tom Hallion.
Yeah, he was trying to dodge everybody. Hallion, the mask, and the sun. A little slider, and you can see kind of drops the bat a little bit. Loopy swing on a good breaking ball, and then throw it out of harm's way, and then Hallion's got his hand up.
Pretty good chase.
Was he ready to call him out, or just saying I give? Yeah.
So there are 2 down, and that will bring up Chris Davis. Davis had a double, 2 down, 2 on. Shift on against him, and Chris threw the 95-mile-an-hour fastball. First rule for catches you learn as a youngster: don't throw the mask until you know what direction you're going in. Take it off, hold it, follow the ball, and then throw the mask. Here's the 0-1. Towering pop-up behind second base. Jeter going back, and he will make the catch. So that will do it. No runs on 2 hits, no errors, 2 are left on base. The Orioles 3 outs away from their 38th win. Here's the oratorio. Oh! That was the fat lady singing. All right, we still have to get the 3 out. So Tommy Hunter will be on the mound to finish it up. This is not a save situation. Lowe will stay in left field after running for Steve Pearce. And Tommy Hunter will try and finish it up. 2/3 of an inning. Got the 2 batters he faced in the 8th. Norris would be the winner, be 7-5. Nuno would take the loss. He would be 1-4 and continue his winless streak here at Yankee Stadium. But 3 outs away. Kelly Johnson 0 for 3. Roberts and then Suzuki are due up against Tommy Hunter here in the bottom of the 9th inning.
You know, this is the role that Tommy excelled at last year. I don't mean pitch of the 9th, but just pitching at multiple innings. You just don't get ahead of yourself.
Yep.
One pitch, one batter.
1 out.
Yep.
Ground ball off his glove, which may actually helped as it went right to Jonathan Scope to make the play. A 1-4-3.
Yeah, for a big guy, Tommy, very, very agile. I mean, I still remember the bases loaded play he made barehanded up at Fenway last year. Just barehanded the ball. It was hit pretty crisp.
So Hunter gets the first out here in the 9th inning. That'll bring up Roberts. Brian Roberts with a double, a single, 2 for 3, 4 for 7 in the 2 games. Orioles up 6-1, out hitting the Yankees 9-6, and Roberts taking, and it will be a ball. Orioles, if they can put this thing away, will at least gain a game on the Yankees, who started the day in 2nd place. The Orioles in 3rd. At the moment, Yankees a game and a half out, and the Orioles 3.5. 1 ball, 1 strike count. That one a blooper. This will be a tough play. A lot of spin. Hardy guns it, and he got him. Hardy had to watch that one because that was the cue shot. 2 down.
Well, they're good infielders. They have I don't know, it's almost an innate ability to read the ball off the bat. Kind of like when you play tennis. Is the ball top spin? Does it have kind of sliced or whatever? And that ball had a lot of spin in it, as you said. But again, you also have to wait for it to land, and that's what he's doing right here. And then he has to reach back because of the spin. Balanced throw.
2 down. Ichiro, 2 strikeouts, and he is flied out, and he'll take the pitch down low for a ball. Toronto playing at Cincinnati again after that great comeback they had in the ball game last night. Their ball game's just about ready to get underway this afternoon. 1-0 delivery by Hunter. Woo! That one just missed him up the middle for a base hit by Ichiro. 2-out single there in the 9th.
And a couple of times a runner on 3rd, he couldn't. He struck out off of Bud Norris this time. This is vintage Ichiro Suzuki. So for him now, the 2,784th hit in his career. But he didn't start till 2001. When he's 40. So that's what. So he must have been, I think, 20, maybe just turning 27. And still has amassed over 2,700 hits.
Amazing numbers for him. Here's Brian McCann. McCann's going to come on as the pinch hitter for Cervelli. Cervelli had a single, 1 for 3. McCann was the starting catcher in the ball game last night. McCann ended up with a couple of singles, 2 for 5, and a big RBI in that comeback 9th inning. Runner goes. It'll be defensive indifference as score that as a fielder's choice.
Well, he hit with 2 out in the 9th, and they were down 3-1, and again came in at 279 against lefties against a tough lefty Zach Britton, and singled to center to make it 3-2 and keep the game and the inning alive.
He's 2 for 8 as a pinch hitter this year. Tommy Hunter blows that one by him, and a 2-strike count with 2 down. Ichiro on at second base, but the Orioles with a 6-1 lead. Hunter, just a quick look back in the 0-2 delivery, and that'll go foul outside of first base.
Kind of a gift for Brian McCann. I mean, he swung when the ball was in the glove, and he come back with a breaking ball, and he's out in front of it. I'm sure Tommy didn't mean to throw it in the zone, but he did.
McCann facing Hunter for the first time. Single by Ichiro, the first hit off Tommy Hunter. And again, the 0-2 delivery on the way. Ball popped up in the air, center field. Adam Jones, he comes, ball game over. And the Orioles put it away. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on. Norris, the winner, 7-5. Nuno takes the loss. He is 1-4, and that indeed does set up the rubber match for tomorrow. The Orioles lead the season series 3-2. Those watching on WJZ, have a great Saturday night. And hope you'll join us again tomorrow to wrap up this series. It'll be Chris Tillman on the mound. against Tanaka. Our coverage on Masson begins at 1:30 with those extra, presented by Dodge, followed by our game coverage at 2. This has been a Masson presentation. Jim and Rick and a happy recap coming up. O's Extra, presented by PNC, is next. For Jim Palmer and all of our crew here in New York, I'm Gary Thorne. The Orioles win it, the final 6-1.